Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I got a good friend of mine, and I guess technically a former boss.
Former boss, yes.
Former boss.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see you, I'm like, shit. I should shave my mustache.
Trim my hair, maybe get another haircut.
You weren't really bad about that. There's only one time, and you must have been getting heat for it. We were in Iraq, and I had the most shittiest.
I don't know if they call that a mustache, though. It was more of like a flavor saver than it was a mustache, dude.
It was in my younger years.
Yes.
Of facial growth.
Yes. Stories to tell the
but
grandkids.
I remember you were like, I don't know how you even said it. You're like, Nick, can we just trim it up a little bit?
Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Get out of your mouth so you're not tasting your food for the second time at the end of the day.
Oh, man.
It was good.
It was Iraq, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Give a fuck meter on everybody there was like not that high.
No.
Not in that world anyway.
No, especially during that time frame. You figure 06 was...
It was a surge.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a lot going on.
There was a lot, for our deployment for sure.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we, as a company, we did really well across the board. We took a lot of casualties, though. I think that was probably the biggest stick in my heart was that, we couldn't protect a few guys that did pass. But it's part of... that's part of the job. But
overall, we did. As apart from that was horrible, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that we still carry with us today. But we did really good. Those platoons now looking, being the age that I am now, you are. My personal opinion, looking back, was like, wow, we did as young as we were, the men doing the job.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Look at Tony's platoon. Those guys are all brand new ARS guys, BRC dudes.
They're all babies.
Yeah, we take them to Hawaii, and like they didn't know what to shit or whine or watch. Sometimes they're like, we're training in Hawaii. We're in the Pakaluka training area, freezing our butts off.
So for those who don't know, Stu was my ops chief for almost 2 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years. Yeah.
And then Phil took the company ops chief, and I got promoted to platoon sergeant for a little while. But yeah, and just real quick, those that don't know, give them your background.
26 years in the Marine Corps. 25 and a half of that was within the recon community. I did spend 3 years in MARSOC to run the schoolhouse. I wasn't a MARSOC Marine. I was a...
No, you were there to...
I was there to teach these MARSOC
No, you were
guys.
there to get rid of MARSOC.
Yeah, I was.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will.
I wasn't drinking no Kool-Aid, let's put it that way. But yeah, that's...
Where'd you start out in recon?
I started out at 2nd Recon Battalion, right out of SOI. I was very fortunate for me as a Marine to get out. The funny thing is that in boot camp, I had 2 drill instructors one was Force Recon, Sergeant Black, and another one who was Recon Battalion, which was Sergeant Ortiz. Yeah. And those 2 guys,
What year was this? Let's just put a date on this motherfucker.
It was 1986.
Damn!
and some of the listeners out there probably weren't even born yet, or
no, definitely not. Yeah, 1986.
Yeah. I went to the Marine Corps.
I love seeing your guys' old photos, like when I came in, and like the old 80 recon. Like, you think you're tough. We have a lot of equipment. We have a lot of new tech. We have a lot of abilities and different things like that. But I feel like back then it was just grit.
That's all it was.
You didn't have anything.
Yeah. You're carrying 77s with the 57. That weight right there was 23 pounds without batteries. Then you had to add your batteries. So now your ruck's 110 pounds.
And guys complain
85.
now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their total kit weighs about 45 pounds. They're like, oh my God, this is heavy. Dude, my first kit weighed 80 pounds. It's like, it's the end of the day. Obviously, the military evolves, but the UDT shorts and the black silkies will never go out of style.
Never.
I can't fit them over my damn legs, but I still have my original UDTs. My wife's like, did you ever have a shirt on when you were taking pictures? I'm like, why? When you look as good as I did then, there's no reason to put...
There were if you look at the old float boards of the old 80s and early 90s, nobody had shirts on, and it was just UDTs.
UDTs or surfing sand. It's how it's evolved, and people got away from that. If you think about it, back in there, we were talking camaraderie on my last show. Yeah, and my team, I had the same team for 4 years at 2nd Recon Battalion. We went to Saudi together, but we partied together. Our platoons were at each other's houses. Our wives and our girlfriends knew each other. So when we got deployed, the platoon that was getting ready to relieve us would help take care of our families, and there was no hanky panky stuff going around. you never had that because that was a common thing. You said no.
Yeah.
You didn't cross that line because
I think that there was a higher set of men's across the board.
Yeah.
If you look at men in America in general, back then there was a higher level of men's morals, across the board than there are today.
Oh, without a doubt.
In the past 20 years.
I mean, you even hear. I mean, you're more younger and still have some more of a heartbeat than what I do with our guys back in the day.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of where a guy's on deployment comes back and his wife's tapping somebody else in the battalion or somebody else in the within the unit, and it's going. Wow.
I remember during my time, every once in a while something weird would happen,
right.
But it was like a hard no.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, I remember like when I first came into Second Force, if some dude even dated some girl, she was like tainted.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yep.
You're out.
Yep.
Nope. You were with so-and-so. Plenty of fish in the sea. Not touching that drama.
Yeah. And you just couldn't do. And the thing was it was kind of sacrilegious. If
Right.
you haven't looked at somebody else's girlfriend or wife or made a comment, like today it's so easy. I look at her and check. Dude, you don't do that. I've never, and I'm the biggest flirt known to man, never made a comment about another man's wife. Just never did it because I thought it was wrong. It's like, I don't have any girls as kids.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, all the guys on my wife.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I could never do that. I just can't look at another man's daughter or wife and make a comment.
Dude, they comment on my stuff about her. Like, damn, I need to see her naked. Bro, this is you just said that to me.
Yeah.
That's my wife.
And that's to me, that's ass whooping, dude. I'm telling you right now, 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 seconds of ass whooping. I'm telling you, because you don't. Again, we were talking earlier about the trolls.
Yeah.
Why you got to make a comment about somebody else's wife? Admire her from a distance, but don't make a comment.
Keep your
on
mouth
it.
shut.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. There's other women out there that are just as hot. Are you making the same comments because you know Nick and Alice and you know them? So I mean, you're gonna make a comment. Well,
yeah,
they know you from social media.
Yeah,
but not know you like I do.
Anyway, so back in the day, you were.
Yeah, I was a 2nd Recon Battalion from 1986, June of '86, and I went to 2nd Force in '91. I was at 2nd Force from '91 till '97. Mm-hmm. I left there and I went to Okinawa to 3rd SOTG, and I stayed 12 years in Okinawa. So I spent 9 years with 3rd SOTG.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, and I knew that. I mean, we were teaching everybody going down range, and I'm like, I need to go down range. I need to figure this out. So I knew 3rd Recon Battalion was in a chute to go as I'm getting ready to rotate. So I said, I called Carl Froese and say, hey, dude, I'm not leaving this island. I'm going to 3rd Recon Battalion. I'm deploying. Yeah. So I went there and did my first deployment up there with them, and then came back as the battalion ops chief and went out in their 2nd deployment. And then I got orders. I got orders to go to 2nd Recon Battalion. Initially, I'm like, oh, that's great. I knew my Twilight Tower there. I started my career there. I ended there. And again, Carl Froese was the ops chief for 2nd. He wanted to go down range with them, so they changed my orders to go to MARSOC to run the schoolhouse.
I remember that.
I was like pissed.
Motherfuckers.
I was pissed.
You're like, fuck these guys.
Well, the problem is that, don't get me wrong, where they're at today and where they were then, it's a huge difference.
No, it's not even the same.
Yeah, we finally got our heads out of our asses and used the SF model to get our guys trained to where they are today. Yeah. The problem is that we used the FMTU cats to start MARSOC. And they were all the shitbags we got rid of out of our battalions. We sent them to FMTU.
Hey, it's funny. I just did Josh Hansberger was just in town, and we just did a podcast, and he had the opportunity to go to FMTU, and he was like, nah.
It's not where you go.
Yeah, and he was like, no. And he's like, thank God I didn't go, because I would have been one of those cats.
Yeah, because when I checked into the schoolhouse, initially I was going to a different section, but that section had 3 Marines. Yeah. Some of Master Guns taking care of 3 Marines. I wouldn't have done shit. So I said, hey, why don't we just send you over to MSOS, the schoolhouse itself, and I'll take care of all the training. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I'm still going to fucking fire everybody I can get a chance to fire. These shitheads. My first day there, I fired 2 staff sergeants. Said, pack your bags.
I remember.
Yeah, I was like.
I was happy to see you in the command because, I came over, I think around 2007.
Yeah, right after our deployment.
Yeah. So I came over too, and I was happy that you were there.
Well, a lot of guys that were there that knew me were happy, but some of the guys that were there that didn't really know me weren't too happy by the end of the day.
Well, I just knew how you operated. I knew how you, because you were always very hard, but dude, you, out of all the people that I've worked for, you and Phil probably by far the best 2 staff and CICs that I've ever had.
You're saying that because I'm sitting in front of you.
No,
Yeah.
I say that. I've said that publicly.
Yeah.
And me and Phil have got like, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and him have gotten into it. I was like, you're a shitty fucking platoon. I think I got into it with you too.
Yeah, everybody has at least once.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was like, you're a shitty fucking platoon sergeant. And he's like, you're a shitty fucking team leader.
Yeah. It was funny is that while we were there, that we had that big scandal. You couldn't go to the S4 unless you did his paperwork. And Nick,
That's when him and you got into it.
So for the first time, he sends me, him and Tony and Davis sent me 400 individual emails in less than 2 hours. So I went over and I said, hey, dude, what are we doing? You know the rule. You can't just send any willy-nilly over there to the S4.
Yeah.
He said, that's bullshit. I'm a platoon sergeant. I can send whoever I want to. So I left my back to my office.
Which was right across the hall, brother.
Literally right across the hall.
Yeah.
So next day I get up and I got a little over 600 emails in my inbox from that little shit. So I'm like, I'm done. I get up. I go into his office. I tell Willer, I said, get out. Get out. He goes, what? I said, I'm kicking this little shit's ass and no one's going to watch it. So he's running around the back of the table. And I'm thinking, dude, stop. I'm going to catch you eventually because you can't get out of this room. And then he calls my wife and says, hey, Stu's being a dick. Blah, blah, blah. It's like,
because how long have you been friends at this point?
9 years.
Not just work together. I mean, like,
you're
like best friends.
Yeah. I mean, we went on damn trips together for Christ's sakes.
Right.
But yeah, the comical part is that as pissed off as I was hitting him. There was no ifs and buts about it. I was hitting him.
I love you, but I'm gonna beat your ass.
And he says something that was just so funny, kind of broke that mood. And I'm going, bro, I was so pissed, and now I'm like, I can't
What
do
the
this.
fuck
to
are
you.
we doing?
Yeah.
He's funny, man.
He is, and
Yeah.
I love him to death. I see him one week out of the month, every month. So he's another story, man. He's done so well in his life, and the heartaches he went through. But I think we've all done that. People think that success comes easy. They're full of shit. The background stuff, when like you're always preaching, why am I doing what I'm doing? What's my purpose? And part of that transition. And I think for what the voice that you're putting out is phenomenal to these people. They need to understand that it's not always roses being successful. There's a lot of turmoil to get to that success. Sleepless nights, you're worried about money. You're worried about how am I going to do this or where am I going to get that. And
then priority. I think the biggest thing is people have and something everybody struggles with is their priorities, right? They're trying to become successful, but you can't be rich without a family.
Right.
That's not successful. Now you got a bunch of money and you're at the finish line by yourself.
Yep.
That's shitty.
Yep.
Because I've known people that have done that, and they're like, I would trade it all just to be back with my family or have them in my life or not fucked it up.
Right.
You can't be unhealthy and wealthy. That doesn't work.
Nope.
Like, cool, you're wealthy. I know guys that are like that, super wealthy, about to die.
Yeah.
Of like a heart attack. Cool, great. And then you can't be super wealthy or super fit and broke.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. So I think what happens is we get hyper focused on certain things and we have to maintain our levels of priority. So I call it like the success matrix. Okay. So like they all overlap. You know what I mean? Like if you draw like ovals, success is them. Actually, where I got that was the and we talked about it last one, was the ANS. What is that thing called? That selection assessment, that shot card that everybody had with all the different things, basically.
Yeah.
And it's basically how you like see where a person's at. And there's been a bunch of public talks about like, do we want the most physically fit guy that we can't trust?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's levels to the game. And the high school quarterback or the college quarterback that comes in, you're smirking because you already know.
Yeah.
He's the first one to quit.
Yep.
When things get hard, he's the first one to quit. And we've seen it time and time again. Anyways, so you have to, people struggle when they're coming up because they think they have to go all in on this one thing. When yes, you do, but you can't lose sight of all the other things. Like with me, I was like, the deal, sleeping under the desk, wake up, work, sleeping under the desk, got unhealthy, hormones got all out of whack. I gained weight, was losing the relationship with my daughters at the time. Like that's not success.
No.
And
that's part of the dark demons too. If people don't get, there's certain things that you have from your past that, someone asked me, how do you do, how were you so successful in the Marine Corps? I said, I talked to my wife. I said, being at the top, like our run for Iraq, our first trip. Yeah, I was the company ops chief. So all the issues that we had with our guys, the platoon sergeants, you cats, would talk to them, and they would talk to me. But I had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
So, that's where, Phil and my wife and stuff. So those demons they stayed in my pocket for a while.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, why don't you talk to somebody? Who am I going to talk to? Some corporal or lance corporal in my platoon? I said, I can talk to the platoon sergeants. I said, but
I got to be there for them.
Yeah. I was like, so there's got to be a trade-off here. And the trade-off I found once I got to the schoolhouse was to rely on individuals like yourself, and like Wayne Knoll and a couple other cats, Ron Neal, those guys that I can make a phone call to and say, hey, I got a problem. And then be able to talk through it and not have to worry about it.
Because they lived it. Yeah. And they're not judgmental.
No. And we talked about it too. How do we're never going to control or we're never going to stop suicide. Mm-hmm. We never. How can we control it? How can we put something out there to be able to read you on each and every day to see if you're on that meter?
I said it in the book, Excommunicated Warrior. I think knowledge is power. Education is power. A lot of times people, when they get in that dark, just jump right into it. When you get into that dark world of wanting to end it, I truly don't believe people want to not live.
No,
I think they're tired, they're in pain, they're just absolutely exhausted, and they just want to break from the turmoil.
Yeah,
they want to break from the pain.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. They just want to rest. They're not sleeping. They're extremely stressed out. They're extremely they're dealing with all this different stuff, and they just want to break from it. So they make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So in the book and on my keynotes that I talk about with that subject, I go, okay, hey guys, listen. You feel this way right now. In 6 months, you're going to want to commit. You're going to want to kill yourself. Like, no, Nick, there's no way in 6 months that I'm going to. I'm just listen. Yeah, I'm just telling you.
Yep.
In 6 months, you're going to get into and that 6 months is not. It could be it could be a year. It could be whatever. But it's not point.
Just a number.
It's just a number. But at this point, you're gonna when you reach this stage in your life, and you have to process all this stuff, and you don't know how to. You're going to want to commit suicide. And here's the reason why. But I think I've had this. Hundreds of people have given me feedback. They're like, "Damn, dude, you were spot on." Yep. But by me telling you that, now I'm like, it clicked. Oh, Nick said, at this time in my life, I would feel this way, and here's the reasons why. Because when I got to that spot, I didn't understand.
Yeah,
there was no reasoning. There was no why. There was no, oh, you feel this way because X, Y, and Z. I think that if you can tell people, listen, when you get to this stage in transition, you get this stage in your life, you're going to want to end it, and this is the reason why, and this is what you do about it.
Yep.
That's power.
I agree, totally. I mean, at the end of the day, because like for myself, I was going through this part of my life, and you know most of it, I was like, how can this happen to me? Why all of a sudden that I'm in this kind of position I shouldn't be in because I trust
26-year master guns.
Yeah, and I get put in this position, and all of a sudden I'm going, "What? Did I miss something?" Because you're the top. I was the top of the totem pole in the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
I get out now. I'm the moss, the shit underneath the moss.
Nobody gives a shit.
No, you're Master Guns. What's that mean? Nothing. I'm just a retired E9 now. But I mean, you don't know where to. You don't know where to turn because you're used to making all those decisions. You're used to being in charge, and now you're not. Yeah, sit in your hands. Like when I got out, I mean, the first person I came in contact with was a 24-year-old little female who was telling me how to talk to people.
Cool.
I'm like, oh, okay, honey. And I hate using that word, honey. My wife yells at me, but I said, okay, honey, how can you justify what you just said to me? She goes, just the way you talk, your demeanor, you think you're all that in a bag of chips. I said, well, first off, I am. I mean, just ask me and I'll tell you. The old saying, chicks dig me and dudes want to be like me. Ask me, I'll tell you. But the thing is, trying to explain to her, you can't talk to our guys in a tone where you're trying to be a business person. I can't go in and give like my guys an elevator brief about a company I'm working for. They're going to look at me and say, what the fuck are you talking about, Stu? Just sit down. Let's talk.
Yeah.
But, the real world is not like that. So that's why when I started my own company, it was for one of two reasons. One, to promote the gear that these guys need to have and have the ability to reach out to the companies that make it to get it at an affordable price, one. And the second thing is just an outlet for me to talk to the guys. You know, come hang out in the store, you know, and shoot the shit. But after a while, it just got to a point where the business was fun, but it got annoying as hell. You know, I was driving to New York or Connecticut to teach, and then I come back and I got to run the store. And then you have problems with customers, or we're not getting our deliveries, as you know.
Yeah.
You know, things happen, and you're going like, why am I doing this? I'm busting my ass. I've got no time. I got no money. What
I think it's a transitional thing, right? It leads you to and that's what people say, like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, just do something.
Yeah.
You know, and like the same thing with me. Like I started STS. I consider it one of my biggest failures, which I love because it led me to doing the things that I'm doing today. But again, you look at it, what is it? It's the same thing like a store. It's like the same, it's something that's familiar, you know, that you're somewhat passionate about, but it leads you down the road to things that are away from it. Yep. And you have to go through that, right? You have to go through that. And if I had a dime for every time some Marine guy came out and wanted to start a training business or a gear business or some sort of tactical contracting thing, I'd be rich as shit. But you know, I think that what it is just, it's familiar. It's what they know.
Yep.
And the sad part of that situation is I think that they believe that's all they've got.
No, you're right.
You know
I agree with you.
It's like, well, this is what I've done. This is what I know how to do. That's pretty much, this is who I am.
It's the easy thing. It's easy, the easy way to do something you know very well instead of trying to take that chance and go, well, I'm going to go outside the lines just a little bit, see where I go.
Take what I know, but go outside the lines and apply that.
And be afraid of the failure.
Yeah.
And like you always mention too, is failure is not, that's a good thing sometimes, especially in business.
Yeah.
You know, as personal life, no.
It's a tuition payment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuition payment.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You're just learning.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, to figure out where you're at in life, but also to, all right, I can change it. So, I got out of the tactical business and ran a healthcare company. No goddamn clue how to run a healthcare company.
It's still running people. It's still operations.
Exactly.
It's the same shit you've always been doing.
I was high-speed ops chief for a healthcare company, and we were successful. The first year, we doubled our clients because I used that ops chief mentality to figure out, okay, we got to schedule girls. How do we track it? How do we make sure that they're getting paid correctly? And then put it down to a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint brief and made sure that everything was correct. So we followed all the protocols across the board, and it was during COVID. So we were top of it. We had the gloves, we had the gowns, we had the masks, we had everything we need to have. And everybody's like, well, how'd you do that? It's common sense. I need Band-Aids, bullets, and bad guys.
Right.
Right here they are for our nurses as well as our aides. And it was just, I don't understand how you got to this point. I was an ops chief for my last 15 years in the Marine Corps.
But being able to switch that on and go, I can apply this to anything. It doesn't have to be in the tactical world. It doesn't have to be in the war fighting world. You know, it can be literally anything.
Like now with this the podcast stuff that I'm doing with for Aspetto.
Yeah.
I can talk to anybody. I don't know a stranger. Never met one. I have no idea what a stranger is. And for me, this is a good passion for me. It's just what my life is really all about, is me sitting down talking shit. So that's why I do this podcast.
That's what we do. That's what we do when we get older.
Yeah.
That's why I went from making stupid, silly videos to, I told everybody, I said, listen, I'm gotten older. I got more shit to say, and it ain't going to be done in 10 minutes. So So I want long form conversations, and we're going to change some things. But so on the failure thing, this is where it's not just our guys, but I'll use the military portion of it. We're taught vulnerability is bad. Vulnerability is a bad word, especially in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Vulnerability is something that's bad. Failure is bad. Failure is final, right? Because you're talking about loss of life. So we breed that into ourselves so hardcore that we take it outside of the military with us, and it doesn't serve us. There's nothing that serves, that mentality does not serve you outside the military.
No, it doesn't.
Because failure is not final.
No.
It's just...
You just go back to sleep, wake up the next day, and you can probably
do it again.
Fix that failure.
Yeah, do it again.
Try to fix the failure.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you, because at the end of the day, when you get out, there's so many things that we can relate to in the civilian world.
Yeah.
As former military guys across the board, especially those that are in some type of special forces of that military.
Yeah.
They're a personality. They're strong individuals, and because of that, they got to make sure that they're peacocking all the time. And if they don't peacock, they're like, oh, something's wrong here. I'm failing. I'm being vulnerable because I'm not showing my true me. Well, you know what? You are showing your true me. It's just out of the uniform. You're a civilian.
Just the ego and pride in your way.
Yeah.
So I had a friend tell me, you know, when we were heavy into the Raider Project stuff and working with vets, he was like, listen, we need to get these guys talking about our community. We need to get these guys to know that they don't have anything to prove anymore as far as being a tough guy.
Right.
Like, you did it. You did what, like, was it 0.4% of the populace joined the military, and then like 0.01 joins any sort of special operations or, you know, unit.
Yeah, very small.
Like, brother, you did it. Mm-hmm. You're a badass. You don't have to wear a badass hat anymore. There's no more checks that you need for the rest of your life.
No.
You know what I mean? You can go braid your hair and, you know, paint daisies on your face for all that you care. Still a badass because you did it.
Yeah. Right?
Now, I'm not saying that, you know, to get soft and whatever and, you know, in your life, but my point being is we have this, I think there's a lot of young guys out there that get out and they feel like they need to keep this bravado up. They need to keep this image up.
Yeah.
Instead of allowing themselves to become something more, to become something different. And the more that I've learned and the more that I've grown over the last 10 years, I realized that the most successful people in the world are also the most vulnerable people in the world. People that have failed the most. They're the most grateful people in the world, and they're the most giving to others. So they don't act like a badass.
No.
Like, this one guy, that guy blew me away. I've talked about this in the podcast. It's the only openly billionaire that I've met.
Okay.
You would never guess. Never guess.
Dressed down. Doesn't wear the Rolexes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Nothing, man. Yeah. Nothing. He looked like he just got done getting his ass kicked in jiu-jitsu. I think he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, actually. 60-something years old. And he did nothing but try to serve everybody at the table. This is a billionaire. And he said, you get to a place in your life where you just, you give. That's your mission.
Right.
So, and he was completely open about his failures. I mean, I very limited interaction with this guy, you know. But in this short time, it was like, how can I give to you? I'm super thankful for meeting you. Like, he just poured into everybody at the table.
Right.
And then he was just completely vulnerable about every problem he's ever had or currently having. He had nothing to like, there was no chest beating whatsoever.
Well, I think that's good. You got, I know quite a few millionaires, and I still think they're dickheads because they got all this money and they're just rude out in public, in my personal opinion. The guys I know, and they're friends of mine too.
But maybe low level millionaires.
Yeah.
Maybe
They're it's funny though, but guys like that they see where their failures were and their vulnerabilities, so they want to share that and give to you so you can be successful. Right. Even though you might have some vulnerabilities later on or a failure later on, you take in what he's saying, just like you do with the transition stuff. Yeah. You apply that. Right. And by just applying it small here and there, it's going to eventually make you successful because he's seen it. Well, that's like when you tell your kids, hey, don't do this. Well, because you probably have done it and you're telling them not to do it so don't get in trouble. It's the same thing. Yeah. And at that point, like for me, it's the same way. I was in Food Lion the other day, and you could tell this lady was in a little bit of trouble. She didn't look good. You could tell by her facial expressions and her body language. And I was kind of like, So I said, hey, how much is her order? It's like $16.05. So I gave the girl $20. I said, pay for her groceries. The girl's like, no, I can do this. I said, you can. You absolutely 100% can do this. I said, but right now, this moment, you can't. So I'm giving you a helping hand right now. And then hopefully in a couple days or a year or so, you'll do the same thing to somebody else. But understand that life's not that bad. Yeah. It's just you got to figure out how to maneuver in that bad problems you have.
So one of the things that I've done in recent years, started probably about 4 years ago, which kind of snowballed some success, was, and talking about those failures and learning, was getting coaches, investing in myself. Oh, so instead of, it's crazy, man. And now I'm talking to people, that need to lose weight, want to make more money, want to make their relationships better, family unit better, whatever. And they're like, oh, I can't afford it. I'm like, well, one, you're 400 pounds and you got a family of 6 and you're type 2 diabetic and you're probably going to die soon and leave them because there's literally a guy. And then what's crazy is when I made that video and I said, if listen, you're being selfish if you're this person and you're not getting help to better it. A lady commented and told her whole story, basically saying how that was her. Like they had like 3 kids, they had grandkids, and he died in his like late 40s. So now they're all growing up. You know, people are getting married, they're having grandkids, and he's not there to see any of it.
Yeah.
And he was the sole breadwinner. And so basically, what my point was, if you want to, people will invest in $1,000 iPhone, not invest, they'll buy $1,000 iPhone. They'll buy whatever. They have millions of subscription services. They're spending money on mocha,
Starbucks,
mocha choca bullshits and smack-a-cock lattes. But when it comes to like, I'm going to invest in my own knowledge, my own health. You know, I'm going to make me better so that I can serve my people or level up in my life.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't afford that. You can't not afford that.
Right.
So when I did that, that's when everything changed for me. When I started dropping money on, how do I gain this knowledge? How do I gain everything that you know in a compressed amount of time?
Right.
To solve problems. Because what you're doing is you're solving my problems without me having to get there. And you're giving me solutions to like, hey, I don't know what to do. You've been doing it for 30 years. For you, the solution is simple.
Yeah.
You're like, I just do this. Oh.
Yes.
But that one little answer might be the difference of making, $500,000 like that.
No, I totally agree. And what I look at too is the word no, it was put in a dictionary for lazy people. That's first off. There is a solution to every problem. There's a solution. You just have to find out what it is. People say, oh, this, that. No, there's a solution. There's a solution to everything you do in life. It's how you figure out how you're going to get to that solution.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's trial and error, but again, I always say to my grandkid when he falls, I said, you only do that shit once. You're not going to fall off the truck again. And he hasn't since, but that's how you learn. It's got to be a trial and error.
I had 2 kids before Allie, and then this is her first. Dimitri is her first, and it's a boy, which I've learned is very different
than having girls.
Oh my God. Like there's a different, I've always heard that, but it's the first time actually like day-to-day experience. Plus, I've not been in the military, so I haven't, he's 2 years old and I haven't deployed once. I've been here the whole time.
Exactly. What a concept.
What a concept. Yeah. But there's a little bit different volume level. So he does kind of have this like inherent energy that he wants to let out that sometimes looks into more of a destructive form. Yeah. And I asked my mom, I said, was Chris and I like this way? Because the girls weren't destructive. They had energy, but they weren't destructive. She goes, oh no, you guys were destructive.
Yeah.
Not because you wanted to be destructive. You were very happy about it, and you would smack your brother for no reason. You would he'd be minding his own business and you'd be like, bam. Yep. And anyways, but watching Allie experience, she's very like, he's going to hurt himself. I'm like, well, yes, but that's how we learn.
Yeah. He's a boy. He's going to do it.
So it's just funny you say that because he does. He'll like fall off of things, trip, fall off his bike, whatever, do his things. And she's like, I don't want to hurt herself. Like, well, he's kind of have to climb up that and fall off, to a certain level so that he.
Yeah, no, that's how they develop themselves, especially my grandkid's got, he's on the spectrum for autism. So he's 3. He's
put him in jiu-jitsu when he gets older.
Oh, dude, he's going to something like that.
He's going to, because I'm not saying that there's some high-level jiu-jitsu people on the spectrum, but the signs point to that. And those guys, because it's the puzzle.
Yeah.
And then once they figure out that it's a puzzle, they remember. Like there's guys out there that remember, they get taught something and like 7 years ago, they were like, oh no, you taught it this way in a different way.
Right.
Who the fuck remembers 7 years ago exactly what you said?
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh shit. No, but the thing is with like kids, his mom she's a great mom, without a doubt. And Michelle's a great grandmother. But again, too, like he's out roughhousing with me. He loves playing in the mud after raining. I'll get outside, sit in the mud with him, and he'll get playing in the mud. And mom's like, oh, he's going to go there. So you have a bathtub. Just throw his ass in the bathtub. Yeah.
I got a hose. It's all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got a pool. I'll throw him in a pool. Like hasn't fell in that before. But I mean, he's got to experience those things. That's how he develops. That's how he understands what life's all about. He gets his personality, his character by those failures.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you fall and scrape your knees, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're not going to make those same steps again to hurt yourself.
I did. But I'm a little denser.
I still do that now.
Still do that.
Yeah. I'm 60 years old and I still do stupid shit like that.
But you take that to an adult, right?
Yeah.
That's the same shit. It's like, but why are we afraid? Why are we afraid to make, because now we're not growing. We're not going to get successful because we're not. So I tell people this, if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to fail regardless. You're going to have to fail 15 times to get to your success. So the faster you can go through those failures, the faster you're going to get to the success. But if you hit one failure and go, I didn't like that, I'm out. Well, then you're going to be the guy that's just spinning your wheels.
Well, it's like for us patrolling. You might get out. It might get, okay, for some reason the helicopter's screwed up like normally they do when they insert you. You look at your map, you're like, shit. I went from 2 clicks to 20 clicks. And now you're in your hair. You're failed in your head right now.
In the Croatan.
Yeah. Like, damn. Or in Albania with all the mountains, and the snow like hell. But at the end of the day, then you look at it and say, okay, I can do this. And it's going to suck. And it's going to suck bad. But when I get there, you're hating it through that whole patrol. But once you get to your ORP and get your objective, you're like, that wasn't too bad. You got blisters all over your feet. Your hands hurt. And you're freezing your ass off. But it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It sucked.
It sucked.
But you overcome it. You figure it out. Yeah, you figure it out because the mission has priority. You have to get to that end point. It's figuring out how you get there. It's the same thing in life. Your mission is to be happy. My mission is to be happy. My wife loves me. She digs the shit out of me. I still don't know why. My grandkid, I adore. My son, so much. He's a 32-year-old kid still trying to figure out what the hell he wants to do. But I have a great life. I have great friends. Money's not an issue for me. I mean, so it's I live life the way it's supposed to. Now, if I get my body, that's where you come in, Nick, to fix the body. I'll be good. I got about another 35 years left on this world.
And we can keep making it longer too.
Yeah, my intent. It too. I strive. I'm a vain kid from New Jersey. I enjoy taking my shirt off in my pool and drinking beer and getting a suntan. So I have to kind of somewhat stay in some kind of shape.
Yeah, right.
Round is a shape, though. I mean,
we need to get you back there and get you some bigger UDTs.
Yeah. I'll put spandex on, like the thong I had on in Iraq.
Yeah,
I saw that picture
on the roof.
I was like, they're like, why'd you do that? Well, first off, it was my birthday, and I told everybody that when we got back from that op that I'd put my thong on and run around the CP. Yeah. And that's the day we lost our 2 EOD or our engineer guys. I was kind of like, everybody else come down and said, hey, we still doing this top? I'm like, I don't know if it's a good idea. And then I looked at everybody's eyes in the battalion as well as the company going, they need a laugh right now. These cats need something to just giggle over.
Everybody's gonna laugh at me. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'll be the scapegoat. I put my thong on, walking down a CP with a teddy bear. And
for the visuals, he still had a little bit of darker hair. He wasn't all gray back then.
Yeah, I had a lot of darker hair, but unfortunately. And I was in a hell of a lot better shape back then, too. Yeah. So, but the point is that, you had to do that. I mean, when things are really bad, you need somebody to kind of step up and kind of chuckle.
That's another thing that we don't take with us. And those of you that weren't in the military, didn't serve, when things got really bad, James Holland said this in one of my videos. He goes, you need to have a sick sense of humor for being in pain.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to laugh at it. Like enjoy, get used to being in pain and thinking it's funny.
Yeah.
Like you have to have this really weird sick of humor. When things get really bad, you just laugh.
Yeah. What are you going to do to me?
What are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I remember being there was a storm. I don't know if it was a full blown typhoon, but we were up in the NTA in Okinawa.
Yeah.
And we got hit with something up there. And I remember our team was basically circled up and up next to a tree over by the storm. We're in what are you going to do?
You can't do nothing up there.
You can't get us out.
No.
We're in the freaking jungle. There's no way to get us out. And then birds aren't flying because there's a storm. So you just hunker down. And I remember just getting pelted with rain. It's actually cold because of the rain, and you've been hot all day. And I remember just sitting there and just looking at everybody, and we're just laughing,
How worse can it get?
Yeah, how worse can it get? You know, before like the lightning strikes the tree or something like that. But yeah, you look at it and you're just like, this is shitty. And you just start laughing.
Yeah.
And I've found that through time, as things get worse, the more I just go, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
You got to find humor in it.
Yeah, instead of getting like all like worked up and you know.
I think that's half the United States' problem. I talk about the 5 pillars. You got the military, law enforcement, first responders, teachers, and nurses. Okay. That's what makes us go around. Because we have the military takes care of everything outside the United States, cops inside, the first responders inside. Yeah. Your teachers are making the future of kids to be the future leaders of the United States. Mm-hmm. And the nurses are there to make sure that everybody's taken care of, which is a shortage of all those and lack of money. But at the end of the day, if shit got really bad, I said, it could be worse. And I'll chuckle because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do to me that's going to kill me, especially in training. You're not going to kill me. You'll put me through the hard ace and I might have bruises and cuts and all that stuff, but it's not going to kill me. Yeah. If anything, you just kind of look at it, so no matter how bad shit gets, you just kind of go, like, whatever. I do it all the time. I'm always like, why are you laughing? I think it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, my knee needs to replace. Well, you're going to be down for 3 months. Okay. So you're down for 3 months. So what's the big deal? Because you can't take it literally. And I think it's some of the problems in the United States is people can't do that and look at a bad thing and go, yeah, it could be worse.
It can definitely get worse.
Yeah, and just chuckle about it.
We've been to the locations it's worse.
Yes. And even when you say, it could be worse, it got worse, you're like, fuck, is this what I just screwed up here or something? Shit, But at the end of the day, that's what people need to do. You got to step back. When you're doing whatever you're doing, just step back 1 step and kind of look. Assess, like we used to say, search and assess. So that's what I'm doing. I'm assessing what's going on. Yeah. And I'll move forward. It's bad right now. You can't change it right now.
You know what, though? It just reminded me of something. This is the reason why men, I guess women too, but, I focus on men, need to do things that are really shitty and hard.
Yeah.
Because that character. It builds character, and it puts them in a situation to where they're like, they have this perception of what is hard, and when things get really hard, they go, well, I've been in worse.
Yeah.
Or it can get worse. Right. So this is not too terribly bad. And that could be like, situations with your money and your house and your family. And, you take those military style horrible situations and you apply them to life. Yeah. It's like, have a little perception. But men have to, we've done it, right? We've put ourselves at the brink of our physical and mental capabilities, right? So when you do that, you have a new appreciation for things.
Oh yeah, without doubt.
You know what I mean? So it's something that men need to constantly do. And if you're out there living a soft life, well, you're just going to be soft, So put yourself, whether it's whatever, a physical challenge, a mental challenge, jiu-jitsu, just push the needle in your life to where you're challenged, and so that you fail. So that you do fail at something, so that you can go,
yeah, you got to learn from your failures. Yeah. And like you said earlier, you have to fail to be successful. Yeah. You can't just come out and say, "Oop, I'm successful." It doesn't work that way. There's things in between that piece of being successful is that you got to figure out, certain things. It's going to fail within that, whether it's your investment was incorrect on whatever, a product, or you launched something the wrong way and you should have done it this day. You got to figure out. It's just. You learn from that, and it's better the next time you do it.
Man, we have, it's funny, man, like all of my businesses, the Agoge, Johnny Slicks, all the kind of stuff. And everybody's like, oh, you guys are super successful. Dude, we fucking fail all the time, man. We'll launch a product, and we're like, this is the next $1 million product. And it's like, man. Like, well, shit.
We made $10 off of that. So right. Didn't even cover our costs.
Yeah, we spent we spent $10,000 and made $10.
Yeah.
It's like, these things happen literally. I mean, they're happening today, right now, without me even knowing. I know that they're happening. It's a constant thing. But again, it's just, learning to take those risks and to not quit. And I'm going to make a video talking about, kind of the mindset of not quitting.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure that there are times that you had some little inner bitch way back, because I imagine in the 80s it was even harder. I'm gonna go and say that.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Shaved heads, sweats inside out. You couldn't walk around the battalion unless you.
They shaved your head back then?
Yeah, you were shaved head for 6 months.
When you went through RIP?
I didn't go through a RIP.
So what was the process?
So I went, when I got into SOI, the first thing I did when I got in SOI, they said, okay, what MOS you want? So I was an 03, obviously.
Yeah.
I said, I want the easiest 03 MOS. They're like, why? I said, I'm taking a recon in, doc. I want to be a recon Marine. And both the drill instructor were sergeants laughing like, yeah, okay, Lance Corporal. I'm like, no, I'm serious. What is the easiest 03 MOS you had? And they said 51, so that's what I went, which was a bad, bad move. That's not because the MOS was good for the first year I was at 51.
Yeah.
And I went and I took the indoc and I
sorry, that's a Mortarman, right?
No, 51 was a Dragon anti-assaultman.
What's the mortar? What's the
41s? I think
41s. Okay.
Yeah. 31s are machine gunners and 11s yums, and then us 0321s or 0371s.
Is that what it is now?
For the MARSOC Marine, yeah.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah. No, for 03, it's still
72. 72.
Okay. Why did I say 71?
I don't know.
Was that the officers?
I thought they were 70. Maybe they are 71.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who gives a shit about them anyway?
At this point, what's bad is that
I was kidding,
I was in
guys.
the unit for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I turned down the MOS for a reason. I was getting ready to retire. Me and Red, more Tory. And they're like, oh, no, you need to keep it. I said, for what? Well, when you retire, you can use it.
For what?
I was like, why? I'm a reconnaissance Marine, 25 and a half years, never out of the MOS, no B bills, no staff academies, none of that shit. And I was very fortunate to stay in my community. And now you're telling me I need to take a 4 letter or 4 numbers to make me what? I'm Stu. I'm a Master Guns in the community. People know who I am. I don't need to have a couple extra numbers.
You didn't need to be like another Master Guns out there?
No. And that's the reason I got out. People don't get it. I got out of the Marine Corps because I couldn't be an effective Master Guns. I was getting ready to go downrange, go to Afghanistan when I found out about my knee. I said, okay. They said, okay, we'll put you in the next rotation. Go get it done. When they had it done, they're like, might not. We can't send you downrange.
Was that your first replacement?
Yeah, it was the first one. And then 5 months later, I had to have it replaced again because I broke it. Because they said you can do everything you were doing before you had your knee replacement. Hell, the 4th month, I was out running 3 miles, working out and doing the rowing machine. Yeah, you can't do that shit.
You straight broke that piece?
Yeah, there's a plastic piece that goes in between. Yeah, I broke it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I went and saw the doctor.
Did it hurt or did it just stop working?
No, it was real loose. When I walked, it's kind of like, what's something wrong here? He says, I put in 10, 20,000 knees. You're the first person who has ever broke.
Way to go, Stu.
I was like, successful. I'm successful at breaking, knee replacements. But no, and they said, hey, you can't go. And I was like, you know what? Me and the wife sat down, and it's hard, dude. I cried. I was like, I don't want to give this up, but I can't be that Master Guns and tell a kid, you didn't score 250 PFT, and my fat ass sitting behind a desk yelling at you. That can't work.
I tell them all the time, man, the end comes for us all. You will leave that world at one point or another.
And you're replaceable, too, in that world, without a doubt.
They kept moving on, didn't they?
They checked me off and wouldn't let me back on the compound. I left, and literally 10 minutes later, I had to go back because I forgot my wallet. You can't come in. Yeah, well, you checked out.
I said that in the book. I don't know if you read that book, but I said, so like I remember the door shutting when you do the thing, and I was like, fuck, I can't get back in. That's it.
Nope.
When you're done, you're done.
I had to call General a favor and say, hey, sir, it's Stu. He goes, what's up? I said, they won't let me in the gate. He goes, what? I said, yeah, I left my wallet and keys on my desk at the schoolhouse. He goes, oh, you tell him to let you in. I said, here, I'll hand the phone all to you. So I gave it to this corporal, and I told him, I said, thank you, because he was stern. Master Guns, I don't care who you are or what you did. You can't come in this gate. You're not approved. I say, brother, you're absolutely correct, man. Obviously, but it's like you're nobody now. Who you talk about purpose and the why. I didn't have a why or a purpose. I was just like, shit, what do I do now? I'm going off, so I went and obviously worked in the civilian sector for 2 years.
Yeah.
And got bored with that.
We always do.
I don't like people ripping off other people. Let me rephrase that. I don't like people taking advantage of people.
That's all.
Even though it's the government or it's I don't dig it. And when it starts hurting my heart, I need to move on. That's why I started my tactical company.
Yeah, I did 1.5 years, and I was like, I'm out. I'm gonna go build my own thing. It's gonna be super easy. 10 years later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna say that now.
I'm like, I'm gonna have this wrapped up in a year. I'm gonna be a millionaire within a year. Yeah, sure.
I was sitting in Rhodes, Greece, on the damn beaches with the wife and the chilling out. Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
You gotta do some other things in between there.
There's some work in between.
That's out of control. But I mean, with life itself, you just got to figure out what you want to do. You got to find that purpose. And I realized that in my darkest day that I didn't have a purpose. I just was appeasing everybody else. I was appeasing me.
I was talking to one of our clients today. He was a little stuck. He's one of our tier 2 Agoge clients, and he just felt a little stuck. Retired Marine, 20-year. He retired in 2012, same year I got out.
Same year I retired.
And we got out all the same. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. It was a big exodus that year.
There was.
It was a huge exodus that year.
I wonder why. I know 6 deployments in 3 years. Yeah, I wonder why. Are you shitting me? Someone asked me that. Said, why do you think everybody got out of MARSOC so quick? Dude, these guys were doing multiple over and over.
Just I was worn out. You know what I was turned into? You didn't actually turn into that guy. You maybe a little bit, but not like others. I did. I felt myself. You know the guy that's like the master sergeant or the master guns. It's just a fucking asshole to everybody.
Yeah,
he just hates his life, and we know all of them, right?
Yes, we do.
And I never wanted to be that guy, and I remember distinctly 2011, 2012. I was turning into that individual.
Yeah,
like I just really disgruntled, pissed off all the time, hated everyone.
Yeah,
and I think at this point I was 6 or 7 deployments, and I was like, I think I gotta go.
Yeah, I told everybody I was very fortunate in my career because I thought I was a terminal sergeant. I mean, I was a sergeant.
I remember you telling me.
I was a corporal for 6 years and 3 months.
I remember I remember this because I said something about my rank, and you were like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Like, are you kidding me? Are you saying I was a corporal for a year and a half? I should be a sergeant. Dude, shut your mouth. I waited 6.5 years to get promoted, and I had to change my MOS to get promoted to sergeant. Yeah. Then I was in my. They got orders to go to Okinawa. They sent me there for 1 year unaccompanied because I was at my tender. I was at 12.5 years.
Yeah.
If I get picked up for staff sergeant on that board,
that was it. You were out.
I was done.
Yeah.
And for me, I came to the Marine Corps to piss my dad off, because he's a Vietnam veteran Marine.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can show you. Oh, no, you can't, because you're going to get your ass kicked. They're going to throw you through walls, which they did. And I learned quite quickly that you can't kick the shit out of 3 or 4 drill instructors. They will whoop your ass and make you feel stupid, which I did. I learned very quickly, again, from failures.
Were you big back then too?
I went into boot camp 250.
Okay, so you were.
I was a big guy.
Yeah.
But I was in great shape too. And when I got in there, they're like, "Hey, fat body." I wore a fat body shirt.
Really?
Yeah, for the whole time boot camp. Only because I made myself and this guy Gannerton were outside. We were big air locker recruits, and we were spraying these things, and I was laughing. I said, "Them fat bastards got to wear these shirts." And Ortiz, love him to death, and Bly. I'd love to see where those two are at these days. So what are you laughing at, Stueber? I said, "I'm spraying stripes on a T-shirt for fat boys. I never thought I'd do this." He says, "Well, that's great. Spray yourself one because you're going to wear it the rest of the time you're here, too."
Damn.
So every day I wore it, I was a fat boy. I was in really good shape. I was jack and steel, pretty heavy. And, I learned I was not as good as I thought I was. Yeah. And I came in with an attitude. I was a Jersey kid. I mean, I was on the bus sleeping when they came running on the bus to get us off. I'm like, "Dude, why are you yelling so loud?"
Easy, bro.
And
chill.
I don't think I touched the floor. These 2 dudes yoked my ass up and dropped me on these yellow footprints. I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" I was just sleeping, and I didn't realize that, hey, this is reality. This is bad.
Wake up.
Yeah, wake up. So I think we're going to have a problem with you, Stueber. No, sir. Not me. And we'll get a haircut. I saw that movie,
Yeah.
So take a little top. So I guess I'm not hairstylists now, are we?
Well, go back. So you in the battalion back then, you guys came into the battalion. They shaved your heads for 6 months.
Yeah. So when I got picked up at 2nd Recon Battalion at the SOI, they drove us in a van. I never did more flutter kicks and push-ups in a van in my entire freaking life. And the drive's only 20 miles.
But this is back in when it was not a B billet. It was like a secondary MOS, right? It wasn't a primary MOS.
Yeah. So basically, we were A654s. If you jump die, they had a basic. Yeah, it was a secondary MOS, correct.
Okay.
But yeah, as soon as I checked in, we got dogged for 2 days straight. I'm not checked in yet, and my Charlies are all yoked up and everything else. So first they bring us in. You meet your first platoon sergeant, which is the worst thing in the world to meet. They shave your head right there. They throw you sweats that you have to pay for, obviously. And they say, okay, from the next, until we tell you, is what they said. Until we tell you, your head will stay shaved, and you'll never wear those sweats inside right until we tell you. I was like, what the hell?
Is it like battalion sweats?
They were battalion sweats.
But you had to wear them inside out.
Inside out, yeah. So where I got my respect is like 2 or 3 months into it, I was back in the NCO quarters getting.
So it's like their version of like wearing a rope back then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the rope stuff came in if you were getting ready to go to ARS. It was ARS then. You wore the rope because you were in training at the time. So you were in
Was
that
it
kind
still
of
a
training
4-story back then?
Yeah.
It was?
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah, I have pictures from that back those days. Though
it was cool that I got to go there.
It was funny
because it ended in what, 2008?
Was it 8 or yeah, it was
while we were in Okinawa.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was a great idea, but I learned so much because I was in the back of the NCO quarters, and you could dog the shit out of me. I'd laugh at you. Yeah, I'll do push-ups because you can only do so many push-ups or stand on cherry pickers so many times. And this kid came up.
I was old enough to realize like these motherfuckers are gonna want to go home at some point. So
exactly right.
We'll play these games for as long as we need to.
Said, it's like anything else. This will end sometime soon.
Yeah.
But one of the corporals came up and spit on me, and without losing a beat, I picked his ass up and threw him in a trash can and lost my shit. Now all the sergeants and stuff that are dogging me, they grabbed me. I said, hey, it's good. But don't ever spit on me. You can do whatever you want to me. Don't ever spit on me. I am not a piece of trash. And that day, they said, okay, you can put your shorts inside. You can wear them right now.
They just wanted to see you stand up for yourself?
Yeah, that or see me break.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I got my first team literally a month after that. So I was a Lance Corporal, getting ready to pick up Corporal, and I got a team. And I learned from that thing that they're gonna see where your breaking point is, especially for what we did for a living.
Yeah.
I need to know where you're at breaking wise when shit gets bad.
How are you going to react?
Yeah, can I turn you to make sure it's right? So, people call it hazing. I don't. I thought it was just team building. So I call it.
Yeah, I mean, what they consider hazing is very wide.
Yeah. Well, you can't. I can't curse at you right now. If I'm in the military and I look at you and you do something stupid, and I turn around and say, hey, fuckbag, what are you doing? I mean, and they're like, oh, you cursed at my last class at ITC.
That was not my military experience.
For me, it was the last class that we had before I retired.
No. I mean, like I was constantly being cursed at. I was a staff NCO getting yelled at all the time.
I wonder why, Nick. If people knew the true background of Nick Koumalatsos in the military,
I was a fucking.
You test the envelopes. You'd push it a little bit.
I pushed hard.
You did. I mean, and I think for me, I enjoy guys like yourself that would push that envelope to figure out how far you can go, because at the end of the day, as you get older in your rank, it's going to make you more successful in that rank, and that's why I looked at it.
I was just, I was a leader.
Yeah.
And anytime that you really have a strong leader, even at any rank, you're going to have issues.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And I never, even when I was a senior rank.
That's why Phil and I got into it, because I was like, I was always pushing. He's like, motherfucker,
he's a little shit though. He's a little shit. That's why people get in conflicts with
Honestly, though, it's like I don't think that I would not have been successful in my career if I didn't work for you two as long as I did, because you allowed me to push enough, and then you put me back. And I don't think you guys realized. I think you realized that it wasn't out of like being a dickhead,
being malicious.
Yeah. It wasn't malicious. Yeah. It was because of who I was.
Yep.
And so instead of like firing me or like
breaking me down,
it was like what he really did was he more honed it.
Yeah.
Like, and it would more teach, like, hey, listen, shithead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it needs to go this direction.
And you need to do that, though. I mean, I was very fortunate in my career that people that taught me. I was never a jerk at my rank talking to a younger individual in the Marine Corps. I'd always made sure that I kind of looked at his skills, or I thought the potentials he had, and tried to raise those up.
You were hard on young guys, but it was more of a teaching.
Yeah,
it was like listen, shit, I'm trying to teach you. Yeah. Listen, open your ears. Yeah,
and because too, the environment we're in, you're in combat.
Yeah,
we're not sitting down at the CP in Okinawa or the Camp Schwab, just hanging out, getting ready to go get some sushi and some beer. We're in no shit combat, and our tour was kind of tough. We had some good
Yeah.
Who's in good battles.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure those guys understand there's no apprehension. You know, instant response to authority. That's what discipline is.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that they all understand. You know, I loved when people come in and challenge me, especially you guys. Oh, top with that. And I'd sit there and just listen. Okay, you finished? All right, here's why we have to do this. And I know a lot of senior cats would never do that. And there's two that were in the battalion at that time, wouldn't explain shit to you. Mm-hmm. They just yell at you, hey, you're all screwed up. And okay, but why? I'm just telling you, get out of here. It's like, oh, you're not teaching.
I think you had to save me from one of those because I pushed back on one of those guys.
Probably.
At the battalion level. They were saying
well, me and one of the guys, we went to fisticuffs a couple times.
Yeah. He got into it with me, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm the one out here doing the job.
Exactly.
Like, don't fuck it. And you know what I mean? I'm a sergeant team leader, and I'm like, I'm a fucking team leader. Yeah. Like, you'll fucking talk to me that way while you're sitting in the fucking.
You're sitting in a rock listening to what's going on.
What's going on? Don't tell me shit.
Yeah. And then that person would throw out, well, I was downrange last year. Okay, what's that mean?
That's fucking this.
You
talking about right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't a team. And that's the thing. What's funny is that a lot of you guys at that point would would come in and say, hey, well, what? I found if you don't blow up at people and you kind of listen to them and be mild-mannered and calm. I mean, I think Phil's the only person I lost my shit on ever in my career besides a major in SOTG. But just kind of, you know,
I don't think you ever actually lost your shit on me.
No.
Not that I can remember. If I did, it was so bad I blocked it out.
Because you're so pissed. Like, that son of a bitch. You know, if people say, well, weren't you afraid of what they're saying about you? No, I didn't care. You know why? Because you don't go to bed with me.
Yeah.
And you sure as hell don't pay me. So I don't give a shit what you think about me. My wife digs me.
I think you actually, you said it in different ways. You were like, you don't suck my dick and you don't pay me. Yeah. So.
Why do I care what you think about me?
Why do I care what you think?
I mean, at the end of the day, I say, you don't fuck me and you don't pay me. So that's where it's at. And that is the purpose. My wife digs me. I don't need nobody else, even though it's just a saying, not what it is. Yeah. But you have to look, and you got to make people help them grow. You got to let them get pissed off. See where they're at to figure it out.
That's one thing that I've learned, you know, especially with parenting. You know, I don't like this whole thing because I said so in leadership.
Yeah.
Because if you've got somebody in your team, in the military, external, or even your kid, that goes, but why? They're opening the door to learn.
Explain it. Yep.
That's the opening.
Yep.
Because I said so. Well, then your reasoning is fucking stupid. You know what I mean? You obviously don't have a reasoning. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was definitely that team leader. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
In our community, there was always a lot of question. That instant response to authority was very minimal in our community because, and you need to question that because you were out there.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I do.
Specifically in that community,
I do.
Reconnaissance community,
because there's no reason. Because I told you so. I hate that. I hate it when my parents. And I never said it. I'll never say it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't prove nothing.
Nothing.
If I'm telling you to go, put your hand in the shitter and you ask me why, because I told you so, no, there's a reason. There's got to be a teaching moment in everything you say to somebody or show somebody. There's got to be a teaching moment. Because if it's not, then we stop learning and we become dumb. You know, it's just one of those things you got to learn to express yourself to your subordinates and let them know that, hey, here's the reason why we're doing things without them asking you why we're doing things.
But I think when you do that, they're not following you anymore because of your authority or your rank. Mm-hmm. Now they're following you because of your leadership. They want to follow you. Like that's the biggest thing that I've learned. Nick Freitas said something. I don't know if you know who that is. I met him when I worked, when I was contracting. He was an NEK program manager.
Okay.
And Green Beret. Now I think he's in some sort of state. I think he's Virginia Congress or something like that. He's in politics now. Has a podcast. But he was like, there's two types of leaders. Ones that you follow because of their rank and authority, and you have to, but you don't really respect them.
Yep.
You're right. And there's other guys that, whether their rank was something or not, or they're in the civilian world or in the military, it's like, I'm going to follow this guy regardless.
Yeah.
Because of his level of leadership and that's the reason why with you and Phil, it was like, I'd follow these guys. I'd work for these guys anywhere. I'd follow these guys anywhere.
Right.
Because when I say why, because this, shithead.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
And that's the thing. There's too many times across the board, whether it's in the military, civilian sector, there's too many people that use their authority as an excuse to make you do something.
Yeah.
And I saw it very clearly when I was in the healthcare business. I mean, I had phenomenal aides. These girls were good. I mean, they're underpaid and there's no respect for them. But when I left there, they all came and said, "Look, I enjoyed working for you because, one, you never yelled, and two, if we asked you, why this, why that, you explained it to us so we understood it. You made sure that we had the right monies coming out of our paycheck for investments. You gave us knowledge, or you never said no to us."
Yeah.
And I didn't. I made sure that those girls were taken care of. I treated them like a younger, my lioness crew.
Yeah.
That's what Casey called them. Because I had some girls in there I'd be afraid to be out in the dark alley with. They would whoop my ass or put a shank in me. But at the end of the day, they learned so much because no one gave it to them. No one said, "Hey, I appreciate what you're doing," or "Here's a raise," or they just didn't do it for 10 years. Now all of a sudden wait, somebody cares? Someone's actually going to give me a raise or actually talk to me?
Makes for a better work environment.
Yeah, and they enjoyed. We had a blast. I mean, they'd come in. Before I got there, they never would come into the office. They would just drop their timesheets off in the drop box outside. When I got there, after like the 4th or 5th month, they were all coming in to drop the thing. Just say hi.
Yeah.
Just say, I think because I'm hot, chicks dig me and dudes want to be like me. Ask me, I'll tell you. But anyway, so, I mean, they came in all the time. And, they flirted a little bit, but they felt respected.
Yeah.
They felt that there was somebody there that actually cared about them. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
It was the same way. It was the same way in the when we were in that company.
Mm-hmm.
Guys would be like, your door was like guys would come in there and hang out with you.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't
like corporals.
Yeah, I can't learn nothing about. I tell the story in my first podcast when I got the 240 Golf to put in my truck because I was running the turf.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there trying to remember back in the day how to manipulate this thing. So there's Lance Corporal walking down, and I said, "Hey, Lance Corporal, what's up, Master Sergeant?" I said, "Hey, you know how to use this thing? You know how to work it? Set it up for me?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." So he came up, gave me a full class, taking it down, reloading, clearing jams, how to set with the pedicle, all that stuff. And he kind of looked at me. I said, "What are you so surprised for?" He said, "You didn't know this?" I said, "Dude, last time I touched this thing was an SOI." So you can imagine that was like, 15, 20 years ago. But I didn't care who you were or what rank you were. If I need to find something out or ask
you have
the
information.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that and maybe you gave that to Phil or maybe you thought that way. He said, "What's the most, what was it? Out of all the leadership, what are they called? Traits.
Yeah.
What's the most important one?" I was like, "I don't know. I came up with some bullshit." He said, "Knowledge."
Yep.
Knowledge is the most important one. He's like, if you have the knowledge, you'll be successful. You have to know. You have to go out there and know everything.
Research.
You have to research and you have to learn everything. And he said, if you don't know it, find somebody who knows it. It doesn't matter what age they are, what rank they are. It doesn't matter. Go get their information and treat them well because they know it.
Yeah.
And it's something I've always taken with me. So even now, I'm like, jiu-jitsu or business or anything. I don't care what age. I don't care what age you are. Yeah. In jiu-jitsu, I get my ass kicked by some 19-year-old kid. How did you do it? Teach me.
Yeah. I
have no ego, no pride, and just because I'm older doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of people do that. I think they trend to find themselves. This microphone's kicking my ass in my beard. That they trend themselves and they figure, okay, I'm because I'm in charge of everything. I'm supposed to know everything. Know everything, and everybody below me is simple heads.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pass that knowledge down. Well, you know what? Eventually, you're going to lead, dumbass, and one of those people are going to take over for you because that's how they move up. So don't be that guy and teach everybody. Yeah. And if you don't know, go ask. I don't care if you're a CEO of a Google and you can't figure out how to squeeze coffee. You put in water.
There's somebody that knows how to do it really well.
Yeah. Go ask the secretary or ask somebody. Make them feel that you care.
Yep.
I think that's why they're so successful is that they allow their employees to do X.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to go talk to the boss. And that's a lot of companies you can't. Oh, he said,
that goes back to that whole rank and ego thing. Like, no, you're supposed to listen to me because and specifically, I've noticed this in the Marine Corps. We have a very bad cultural issue with officers in the Marine Corps because the Marine Corps at TBS or OCS at some level, probably at TBS, they're almost indoctrined that if you're an officer in the Marine Corps, you know better. Like, the basically the officer Lance Corporal knows better than everybody in the platoon.
Yeah,
and they show up thinking that. Not everyone. Some people are,
Yeah, there's some phenomenal officers that I know that would never. And that's where I learned, to act the leader that I am, is that you got to be proud. Yeah. Just go, if you need to go ask the PFC to do X and you're a Master Guns or a Sergeant Major, ask them.
Yeah.
Because they have the knowledge. You don't.
They do it every day.
Yeah. And they'll feel so much better if you go down to them and say at their level and go, show me.
Show me.
And they'll be and that's the guy you're going to watch go, oh, he talked to me. Because people don't get it. A Lance Corporal talking to a Master Guns or a Sergeant Major or a First Sergeant or Master Sergeant is huge. Yeah. That's like, talking to the Vice President and President. People get all sweaty and palmed, all that stuff. You go and do those boards.
Am I in trouble and shit? Yeah.
You go do the boards and you got this crusty old Sergeant Major up there that I don't know why he's there, but anyway. Yeah, there's always been, people don't realize the E9s, the Master Guns and Sergeant Majors, we've always had an issue. And I still say it, and I'll say it until the day I die. We, the Master Guns, are the operation guys. We go out and we make sure boys are taken care of. You, the Sergeant Major, your job is to make sure that they're taken care of and their pay and their leave, period. I'm here to advise the CO.
You ain't advising shit about nothing.
You're a cook or a motor T guy. Now, if you're an 03 and you were in those positions.
There's a handful of those.
So be it, but your job is not to consult with the CO on how to do mission prep.
That's one of my favorite lines from Ozark, that girl. Like, you don't know shit about fuck.
Yeah.
that's most Sergeant Majors in the Marine Corps. I don't know. She's great, though.
Yeah, I watched that. My wife and I watch that once in a while.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. So, but that's I agree. Not that there's some good Sergeant Majors out there. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, there is. Phenomenal.
But I do have a serious problem with them in the operational realm, and especially in special operations, where you've got some motor T Sergeant Major that's taken over command, and
I'm the command advisor. How the hell are you?
You're not command of shit.
Yeah. Can you I'll tell you what, buddy. Give me a 9-line right now.
No.
Brought it off. Exactly. So you're clueless. Or just do a bridge rep, or let's do a beach rep. What exactly? You have no clue what you're talking about. So just sit down. Let the master people.
Here's a question from your point of view. Could specifically MARSOC, because of the way that we're organized and the mission that we have, could we flip those roles to where we have basically just first sergeants for administration, and then the actual E9 at the unit is a Master Guns?
Yes and no. And the reason I say it, because a lot of this thing, like the Sergeant Major we have at MARSOC, it's appointed by the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, obviously. Mm-hmm. The way our rank structure and command goes, there's always a Sergeant Major at that unit.
See, we're flawed because of the way the first
That's why we have the senior listed advisor now at MARSOC.
Yeah, but he fucking has to answer the Sergeant Major.
Yeah, well, if he's smart, he wouldn't have to. I'm just saying. As a senior guy, you need to sit down with your senior partner and explain things to them. Like if I was there as a Master Guns and was behind that glass, me and that Sergeant Major would sit behind that glass, and we'd figure shit out right there on the spot before we leave.
Just so we understand who's who in the zoo.
You take care of personnel, I got it, but I do everything operationally. And if he needs any kind of guidance, just stay the hell out of it, dude, because if not, we're fighting, period. Because that's a fighting rank.
Yeah.
When you're Sergeant Major, Master Guns, you fight. You don't argue. You just fucking throw it down and call it a day. 9 times out of 10, the Sergeant Major is going to back away.
So it's really in the Master Guns seat to set that precedence for the command.
Personally, yes.
And if you have a weak ass Master Guns, then
we have some of those.
Yes.
And I hate to say that, but it's
they're
true.
Good. They're about to get out of there.
Yeah, you need to have the rank and to be in that unit with the device. Don't get me wrong; it's an honor.
Yeah.
But to use that rank and that device for your benefit, because you're too weak to say something to somebody, get out.
It's very pointed.
Yeah, get out.
It's a very pointed comment.
Yeah, it's like you're given the rank for a reason. You're put in that position for a reason.
Yeah.
Use it. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy saying, "Well, there's no reason to start a house." Yes, there is, because your guys below you, especially in the training realm, below you is listen to what the Sergeant Major just told the general. No, it doesn't work that way. You should be throwing fists against the wall, saying this is how it needs to be done. And this is why They say you need to learn your roles. My role is to be the advisor to the general based on operational tempo and what's going on within the world for us.
Yeah,
that's what I need. That's my job. Now, if I need personnel, I go to that Sergeant Major and say, "Hey, I need 3 or 4 people to put them in Lima Company or in 3221's platoon or team."
Right.
That's what I need. That's what his job is to see what I have. But I'm the one to school him. So you give me Nick Koumalatsos, and I'm like, okay, shit, I need to send him to a language because we need him to do language, or I need to do. That's where I come in.
Yeah.
My shortfalls in my companies or my battalions, I'm the one that fills it from the personnel you give me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work where you put them where the hell you want to. You put them where I want them because that's how our mission capability. That was what my job is. Even in the schoolhouse, my job is to ensure that the right kids that were going through the ITC course were set up for success because that's the future of us at MARSOC.
Yeah.
Now, if I have instructors that are dumbasses, which we did, and I got rid of them, they had to have the same buy-in. You're there to teach. You're not there to say, well, I heard this once, and to this day it still runs snakes up my back. I don't want to be the guy in my dress blues at your funeral.
Yeah.
Why would you say that to a student? He doesn't know what's going on. He's got a fire hose effect. Can't shit right. Doesn't know what time it is.
Yeah, right.
And you're going to make that comment to that kid? And you're a gunny? Are you lost your damn mind? And we got in a heated argument about it. I explained to him. I said, the same thing for me to say to you. You know, if you can't learn how to be a gunny, do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to see you in a coffin and I'll be in my dress blues. It's the same concept. Why would you say that to another human being? And from that point on, our teaching methods, you know, good on John Daly and Jeff Wilson. If I'm not supposed to say your names out here, tough shit, guys. I love you. They've taken that piece because they're phenomenal dudes. They were phenomenal leaders when they were in the Marine Corps. And so, you know what? We need to mold this to make it right for the student. Not for the command, but for the student. Because our job is to teach these kids to get them into the unit. So what do we need to do? And they did, you know, they do a great job up there. So.
That's a polarizing thought at some people in some people's level.
Yeah.
They think a lot of people are looking too much at the command and not as much as the Marine.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes a command.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. People
it's a backwards way of thinking. Yeah.
People are like, well, we need, no. You need to get these people to go into your command. You don't need to command into the people because it doesn't work that way.
Well, I can take I've taken that same concept and looked at the business, right? Mm-hmm. So in my business, what am I focusing on? The client. Yes, you can focus on getting new clients, and we do that.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not focusing on the ones that you have, those ones that you have are going to be your your evangels that are going out there and telling the world about what you're doing. Take care of the people that you have right there. It will trickle up. It's a little bit longer, but the product that you have is so much of a better product.
Agreed. Also, too, a business, I will never do a $1 million deal. Won't. But I'll do $1 million $1 deals all day long.
Yeah. Because
you have the word of mouth. I mean, let's be honest. You have such a following for not only for the books that you've put out, the transition stuff that you're talking about, you know, the how to make your body better. You know, you're a spokesperson for well-being, for a good life, and you're passionate about it, and that's what's good. But your passion came from somewhere.
Yeah. Okay,
so where did that passion come from? From your time in the military. Because you picked up pieces here and then put them in your bag, other stuff you left out.
Yeah.
And now look at you today. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You can say something about yourself.
It's not a straight road.
What? I thought, you pick up the bottle of water, you open it, it's done, right? Yeah. Isn't that how it works?
It's definitely
successful?
It's definitely not a straight road.
So
you're going to have to weather the storm.
Give me just a short synopsis of a trial or tribulation you went through to make you where you are today. Just something small.
I don't got small. I got something big.
All right, let's go big.
Remember when I think it was like 16 when like the whole world came against me on the internet?
Yeah, don't worry, I'll still kick their ass, dude.
Yeah,
I got your back, bro.
So I know, but it was. Here's the thing, Stu, and I think I've publicly talked about this, maybe on some other podcasts, but I was doing all the things that I thought that I was supposed to do.
Right,
being a quiet professional, not talk about the things that I've done. Really just focus on external stuff. And granted, during that time I had rose to a certain level of popularity on the internet.
Right.
But it's still, I would never talk about things. You know what I mean? I was very guarded with the way that I worded things and generic. The way that it was very generic, right? Because you're supposed to be a quiet professional, right? You're not special, right? There's no special in special operations. Right? I'm like, it's on the fucking board. It's like, it says it's on the building. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But you're not a special butterfly. And I was like, okay, well, I want to respect my community. I want the guys to respect me. I want I want to bring respect to what I'm doing.
Right.
And then continue to help people. So I did that. So I did everything that I was supposed to do the way that I thought I was supposed to do it, to help people, but not also, go color outside the lines.
Right.
They still trashed me.
Yep.
Guys still, absolutely destroyed me. I lost probably 3 years of networking. Not everybody, but I'd say 95% of my network at the time disappeared.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck?
And why?
For nothing.
Exactly.
For nothing.
Yep.
For absolutely fabricated, made up bullshit. So after I went through this like grieving period, and I did, man, I wanted to quit. I was like, what the fuck's the point of helping people?
Right.
Like, fuck this, man. Like, I'll just go do something else and fuck these assholes. So once I got over my own self-pity garbage, you know what I mean? But it did crush me for a little while because I did everything that I was.
You felt betrayed.
Yeah, I thought I did everything that I was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
That they told me to do, and I got trashed anyway. Once I got to the other side of it, I was like, wait a minute. So I can cross my T's, dot my I's, do everything I'm supposed to do, and they're gonna talk shit about me.
Yep.
Well, then if they're gonna like destroy me publicly, for doing this anyway, then what if I just did whatever the fuck I want to do and say whatever the hell I wanted to say?
And use it in your benefit.
Yeah, and use it in my benefit.
Yep, I agree.
Put a fucking device on it, call myself a Marine Raider, fucking tell everybody,
Shit, yeah.
so I can do whatever I want to do. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do now.
Yep.
Guess what happened?
It did well.
Fucking made more money.
Yeah.
People stopped talking. I mean, for the most part, like the gross thing, people stopped talking shit.
Yeah. Because they saw the background.
Like, what am I going to, like.
Let's be honest. We'll put everything out on the table right now. The cards are here. Nick Koumalatsos, Recon Marine, Raider, got out in 2012. Tried to be the nice guy and do this and help everybody out. Okay, well, it kind of didn't work out.
That didn't really work out, yeah.
So I said, you know what? Screw it. Let me think about me.
Yeah.
Me, there is me and team, right? So let me think about me. Well, you know what? I'm going to use what my career was, and I'm going to go write books as the Raider, the transitions, for the prep schools. And then also, too, I'm going to go out and I'm going to publicize, you know what? I don't give a shit what you think about me.
Nothing.
Because my wife.
We were talking, you don't fuck me.
Yeah, you don't pay me.
Yeah.
So get out, dude.
So, and all those guys, and I love it now. I love the haters now. But we were talking about it now. You have to get to a certain, I think once you go through that, right?
Yeah.
You go through that and it's like, now it truly doesn't matter. I truly don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like if you're listening to this and you hate me, that's awesome. Keep watching, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Keep watching.
Keep listening.
And I'm going to keep getting more rich.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep building. And I'm going to keep, my life's going to keep getting awesome while you keep watching.
Yeah.
Fucking keep watching. I do it. And I do it. They say something. I'm like, I just laugh. I'm like, keep watching, motherfucker.
Now, do you actually post when the people write shit? Do you actually go back and post on it?
Yeah.
So you do it. You don't have a team do it.
No, I mean, they get a little nervous because they're like, oh no. But I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll comment. And I love my favorite one is just okay. Like you commented that one. They'll send this paragraph. I'm like, okay.
And the thing is, based off the thing we talked about earlier, is where'd they get this knowledge from? Where did they get the information to say what they said?
No,
they don't know.
They don't know. So, but now people are like, oh, do you even lift or do you do this or you're just on steroids or blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
Yes, all above. Why?
But here's the thing. What they don't know. Here's how fucking stupid they are, Stu. Here's how stupid you are. If you hate me and you comment on my shit, if they truly hated me and wanted me to fail, they would act like I don't exist.
Exactly. Ignore you.
Ignore me.
Yep.
But by commenting on my stuff, and it keeps the algorithm, the riff continues, and I only get more popular, and people only you comment on something negative. Why do you think I say okay?
Yeah. When I saw I want okay. Me personally,
you don't like your people getting fucked with.
No.
Yeah.
I fucking hate. I mean, even today I'm a
Phil's
civilian.
Phil's the same way.
I don't dig it.
He'll call me and he's all up in arms about somebody that said something about me. I'm like, Phil,
so it's okay, man. He's like, no, fuck that guy, and fuck the horse he rode in on. I'll kill his dog and everything. I'm like, it's cool, bro.
We still protect those, though.
Yes,
and that's the thing.
And I truly appreciate that. But it really, what it does in the algorithm on the internet world is it just brings more traction. And Ali goes, I talk about him all the time. I think he's like a heavily religious guy, but I think Trent Shelton, he was an NFL player.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember who he played with, but he was like, because I guess, if you're in the NFL, you're going to have haters.
Oh yeah.
You think? And he goes, oh bro, those are just confused fans.
That's good.
He's like, they're just confused. They're fans because they follow all my shit. They comment on all my shit.
They're just confused.
They're just confused fans.
Yeah, no shit.
That
makes a good point. Confused fans.
Well, it's like the guy that I told you. I called him. He was messaging me stuff, and I finally just said, "You're being a bitch."
Right.
You're being a bitch. I was fucking. No, you mean I'm no bitch? I'm like, no, you're acting like a bitch.
Right.
So you must be a bitch. And he's and so anyways, we went back and forth, and I said, and he owned up to it. He's like, dude, you're right. I was being a bitch. And I said, here, man, here's my calendar link. Book a call. Let's book a 15-minute call. And he goes, why I was a dickhead this whole time, commenting negative stuff. I'm like, why would you mess up? Like, because I knew you got to look at what my business is.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, I said, I'm in the business of taking men acting like a bitch and make them victors, make them men,
right?
Make them the leader of their house, that are setting the example for their kids and their wife and their communities. And the guys that are this is what blows my mind, Stu. There are guys that are in their 40s, have kids and wives and careers, trolling the internet, making stupid comments on other people, and like angry.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Get your shit together. Hold on. So I call this. The guy gets on the phone, and we had this whole conversation. He's like, yeah, dude, you're right. I'm not living with purpose. I don't have my priorities straight. I'm overweight, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bro, listen. He goes, why would you take the time with me? Because I want you to get better, dude.
Yeah.
I saw you being like a bitch. I'm like, this guy.
I want to help you.
Yeah. That's it.
That's all.
That's all.
Everybody thinks there's got to be a background. Why you want to help me? It's because that's what I do for a living. Oh, that's right. That's what my business is.
That's what my business is.
My business is to help people get them out of their funk. And you can't. What I get upset about it is that I'm not a very articulate individual. I cannot write to save my ass. If it wasn't for spell check, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for Debbie across the street. Yeah, but I can talk.
You can talk.
So take your happy ass out from behind that computer, sit in front of me, and talk to me.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
My whole thing is if you have all this testosterone, all these balls, come on and basically tell me that I'm fucked up like two football bats.
You're a beta bitch if you're doing that.
Just come see me.
Yeah.
Don't talk shit to me because I hate, especially when people that I know, I want to run through that damn computer and just.
So you asked me what was the thing. That was a pivotal moment for my success. Sure, yeah. And if you really, for those of the people that have followed me for a long time, they can really see kind of like this like dabbling effect, right. Like kind of dabbling and figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like fucking rocket fuel because I just stopped giving a fuck.
That's probably the best way to look at it. Like for me, I don't care.
I stopped.
People always say, "Why don't you get upset about that?" What do you?
Nick's this. Nick does this. Now I'm gonna give fuck you. I don't give a shit.
But Nick's a good guy. That's what someone told me. He was a good guy. So I want to talk. Just want to talk to him. It's like out of control. Again, too, it comes down to don't be mad at someone who's successful, who's trying to help you and better you.
Yeah.
The embedment of how things go with life.
Well, it's like you gotta ask yourself, why is this pissing me off?
Yeah.
Why? Wait a minute. Why is this pissing me off?
Because you're successful.
No, well, just like if what he says pisses you off, why? Because it hits home?
Yeah, that's true. I never looked at that. That's why I don't get involved with that bullshit.
Like, am I offending you for some reason?
Yeah.
Because is it hitting a little too close to home? So it's something that you don't want to take ownership of? Like, well, I don't agree with that. Okay.
It's a good argument then. If you don't agree with it, but don't blast me and my family. Just stay away from that. Yeah. The 4 F's of life: family, food, finance, and friends.
Yeah, that's
my box, my 4 corners. Stay the fuck away from them, because if not, we're gonna have issues. And I'm not a violent guy. I don't believe in violence. I think it's wrong, but I will talk to you. and we'll have a come to Jesus by sitting here. I don't need to raise my hands, but I'm telling you, when we get done talking, you're going to realize we were talking.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if we could get rid of that crap, that's what I call it, crap, out of society today, I think we'd be in better position. Like I said earlier, if you wake up in the morning and look in that mirror and you can't smile yourself, go the fuck back to bed and turn around and try it again.
Try again.
And I had someone say to me, well, what if you don't have time? Well, draw a smiley face in your mirror after you take your shower with all the condensation. Do that. And once you do that,
then laugh at it.
Yeah, laugh at it.
Take a piss.
So I was good. Thanks for the break.
Yes, potty.
Little lunch, but I was laughing because we were talking about Phil, and then you FaceTime him.
Yeah.
And then we're just giving him shit and not saying anything nice. And it's funny. I was like, when it's real friends, how you talk good about them behind their back.
Yep.
And then in their face,
Talk shit.
You just completely talk shit about them.
That's what's good about it. You're not talking shit behind his back. You're talking to his face. I'm talking shit to him right to his face. He's a good man.
Yeah, man.
Love him to death.
Oh, man.
He's got his quirks with the sales and stuff. I mean, you go to his house now. He's got
do you know what? This is what I realized, and it never really hit me until later. Phil has never left the Lance Corporal mentality with spending money.
No, at all.
That's how he lives.
That's it. Exactly how he lives. Paycheck to paycheck. And the money he makes now, he's still worth paycheck to paycheck.
He's just buying a lot more shit.
He's got a Corvette that sits in his garage. He's got his truck out front, and then his wife just got a new Jeep. But it's the sales. It's either guns or vehicles. He's trading his vehicle, and more than I traded my vehicles in.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's comical.
Yeah, whatever. It's his life. He's making money. Good for him.
And he's got a great wife. I mean, Raina's she keeps him in check.
That's what he needs.
Yeah, she'll be like, Bill, why you buy that? There's no reason to buy that. It's on sale. I saved myself $200. But you spent $400. Yeah, but I saved $200. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't save shit.
You didn't save jack. It shows that you saved something, but you didn't save a goddamn penny.
Oh man,
it's just. But no, he's another one that's got one of those big hearts. He'll take his T-shirt off for you, give him his last nickel, and give you his car
for sure,
and won't think twice about it.
So let's talk about something else. You tell me. Let's go serious first. Give me your most difficult time, either in life or let's go military. Like a stage in the military that was just difficult, that you had to kind of persevere. You had to go through. You had to take the recon creed and really like perseverance through adversity. Here I am, pain, misery, and suffering. Let's do it.
I think for me,
at least one that you can talk about.
Yeah, I think one for me was our 06 tour. 2006
as a leader.
Yeah, because again, we had such a the battalion as a whole, as well as our company, did phenomenal things out there. Yeah. They took out some serious bad guys, but
just what our platoon alone did in Mount Carmel was amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
I would love to talk about that later.
Yeah, so we had
from your point of view.
Yeah, so the tough part was giving everybody else console with everybody else, and Bigot Johnson.
Yeah,
was probably the worst part of my career as a leader, was that day that he passed.
Yeah.
Because we got back, and then everybody went to have a vigil there at the Fallujah Surgical, which I was not a fan for at all.
No, it was I.
Yeah, it's like this. I think this is too impersonal for me. The individual did great things in his life, his career within the Marine Corps, and then I had a platoon. Well, I had two people where it's just, we want to do this, and I said I'm against this, but. I looked at reality and said, you know what, this is what these guys need to do to have some kind of, I don't know, solitude, saying, hey, they've said their goodbyes properly.
Yeah,
is to me. But then coming back and then hearing the guys in the team room and everything, kind of what they were saying, and I was having the same problem with it, but I couldn't talk to nobody about it. Yeah. So for me, that was probably my lowest point in my career. But my second trip was probably my highest point in my career. One being a Master Sergeant as the ops chief for the battalion, and then two, I bitched loud enough and we got the jump. So for me, on a personal and professional level, that was my highlight.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I got blasted from people in the States. We're out there jumping. They're like, oh, we've been doing that for years. But have you done it consistently? Have you jumped in Iraq and actually trained jumping in Iraq?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
We did. We ran 12 10-day packages while we were in Iraq. 12.
Damn.
We had no injuries. The only injury we had was a kid who sprained his ankle jumping off the freaking 7-ton. when we should get back to battalion and unload chutes. That's the only injury we had throughout the entire
Everybody's
piece.
like, wait a minute, this happened? No, this happened.
Yeah.
No.
And the good thing too, we had all the Marines that were silver shield guys were all gold wings by the time we left.
In Iraq?
In Iraq.
That's cool.
That's how many jumps we did. We did it 1,123 individual jumps.
Wow.
Yeah, so for me, that was my high point. And so the 2 combat tours were my lowest point in my career and my highest point in my career. Wow. I mean, I would never change my career for what I did. I mean, I was fortunate.
I always thought we could have jumped. Do you remember when we killed all those guys at the ASP?
Yeah.
My platoon. I was like, man, we could have jumped into that one. That was an easy jump in.
And that's the thing,
we wouldn't have to land birds in that desert.
That's the whole thing is
yeah.
Our first 2 trips when I got over there as the battalion ops chief, we lost 2 vehicles, IEDs. Thank God we didn't lose anybody, but we lost 2 vehicles. And I was in the gym running with Sergeant Major Pickering. So me and Ken were running, and I was pissed. I'm like, ah. And this taller gentleman next to me is like, hey, Marine, what's going on? I said, this command here is just weak. They're a bunch of pussies. They don't want us to do anything. They're afraid of someone's getting hurt. But yeah, I'll send these guys out, get blown up, and get shot. I said, he goes, I said, I have over $2 million worth of parachutes in my possession right now here in Iraq, and I can't use them. Well, why is that? I said, because the command's too scared.
Was that 6?
2007.
No. The command that we were working for was that 6?
The individual that was in charge of us at that point became the Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And I voiced my opinion.
Do you know how one of the big things that stuck out at me when he told us that we were not special, that we were, and that his personal security was the band.
Yeah.
And they were just as good as us.
They could do any mission we could do.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
But meanwhile, I remember, so he said that. He goes, yeah, we can do they can do any mission you guys can do. The band is awesome. Our band guys are awesome. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then when he wanted to go visit a village, he made us go set up OPs for like 3 days prior to clear the road so that his band could drive down the road and he can go do a little whatever.
Well, he's the same individual said, hey, I want you guys to put these gates on top of your turrets so you don't that they can't throw hand grenades in there. Yeah, let's do. That's a great idea because then when I hit an IED,
I don't get launched out.
Yeah,
I'm stuck.
I get meatballed through the damn thing. It's like mincemeat.
Yeah,
like what do you mean? I said, guys, you got an explosion that's got overpressure and reflective pressure.
That guy, the gunner, is the one that typically lives.
Yeah, I was like, I want to get blown out of this bitch. I don't want to be sitting in this vehicle when it goes off. He's like, well, I said, if I get in this vehicle with that cage over top me and I get blown up, I'm going through it in pieces. You're going to put me in pieces in a coffin. I'm not doing that. We're not doing it. And we didn't. After I explained to him the overpressure and reflective pressure with explosives. Again, he didn't know.
Why is that even a discussion?
Because he didn't know.
Yeah.
And his gunner didn't know either. I'm like, you should know of all things as the gunner for this RCT that do X. So anyway, I'm sitting there. The next day, I get a Pickering and Colonel Seeley come down, General Seeley, come down and say, hey, we got to go see.
He's a general now?
2-star. William Seeley. Yeah, he's a 2-star.
Where at?
Up in D.C. You need to follow him on, he's on Facebook. You just need to look at his page every once in a while. I'll tell you what, he's doing great things up there.
I forget with Allie. That's awesome.
Oh,
man.
he's a great dude.
I should message him.
You should.
Yeah.
He'll reply back too. Yeah. I'll comment.
He'll remember me.
Yeah.
I was a pain. That's one good thing. I was a pain enough in the ass of everybody that
everybody knew who Nick Koumalatsos was.
Everybody remember me.
What's Sergeant K doing today? I don't know. You tell me what's he doing today. I don't know. Well, you need to control that thing, Master Sergeant. Hey, Gunny, Phil, you need to control that kid. So
I was a kid, man.
Oh, so we get called over to the RCT, and I'm sitting there and I'm arguing with the master guns there. He was a weak sister. He just didn't have the cojones. He wouldn't stand up to anybody. So I did. And next thing I know, this big, tall gentleman who was standing next to me on the treadmill the day before, General Mills, the 2-star.
That's who the guy was?
Yeah. Did not know. And I was thinking to myself, my throat kind of just like,
yeah, like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like, damn. So tell everybody what you want to do. I said, I want to jump. And the first thing they say to me is like, it's impossible. I'm like, nothing's impossible. I said, if you're going to give me no, it's a reason to not work. That's what you're telling me no for, because you don't want to do this.
So you said that back then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said, well, tell us how we can do this. I said, I do a 10-day program. We have the MMPS that just came out. I said, so we can use these parachutes in different configurations to get everybody to 18,000 feet that are static line qualified. I can double bag them at 18,000.
Yeah.
There's no way, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let me know. Well, the air officer will not let you do this. The blue guy that's over on Al-Assad. Who is he? Oh, it's some colonel over there. Okay. How do someone set up a meeting with me. If I can get him to approve it, will you allow me to jump? General Mills said, if you can get him to approve it, you can jump. Me and Ron Neal flew to Al-Assad, get in the tower where the blue guy sits. We're talking to this Gunny, and I said, hey, the colonel will be here in a second. It was a lieutenant colonel at the time, though. He wasn't a colonel. So me and Ron are talking and shooting shit, and I hear, what do you Marines want to do? And I turn around, it's Kevin Corporan. Him and I were 2nd Recon Battalion together in the same platoon for 4 years. We were workout buddies. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me, dude. His first words, Stu, what do you want to do? I said, I want to jump. He says, okay, how are we going to do it? And I laid it all out for him. He said, done. Went back and told the RCT that Colonel Corporan said was okay. There's no way. He said no to everybody else. And I asked Kevin later on, I said about it. So why'd you say no to everybody else? Because no one came in with a plan. They said they wanted to jump.
With nothing else.
Yeah. Okay, show me your ORM. Show me how you're going to do this, how you can conduct this training. And I gave him a 5-page PowerPoint brief that had everything lined out to include our schedule, what we want to do with C-130s. And from then on, we just jumped.
I mean, it's no different. You were doing that before in the battalion with everybody. Yes.
Well, the whole thing is that no one wants to ask that hard question. If you say, well, can I do this? Well, no. Okay, no is not an answer. It's an excuse not to do shit. Yeah. Why is no your answer? Well, because I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why I'm telling you no. So let me do my thing.
Because the guy before me said no.
Yeah, I mean, let me do what I'm here. You're paying me to do X. Let me do my job. Let me make these Marines safer. And because of that, we only had 1 fatality.
Yeah.
At the entire deployment, and these guys were smoking people across the damn borders.
Well, that situation was a rough. Yeah. That was a bad situation.
Yeah. So I mean,
the fact that we only lost 1 guy was.
Yeah, as Blanton puts it, Rob's Silver Star recipient out of that particular incident explained it. It was a total setup. You can't have 13 dudes barricade inside of a building and then you make entry. Then you got a machine gun. It's going to hit somebody.
It's going to hit somebody.
And unfortunately, it was Frisky, and he was a solid Marine.
I like that. Little Gumby.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was just a good dude. And the unfortunate part,
his mom just hit me up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're doing well. I feel sorry for their kid.
Yeah, because that's a shit situation.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, he gets all the love and support from everybody across our community because everybody still reaches out to her.
Yeah,
as well as his parents, and it's just a tough thing that you had such a great thing and you get that one spot.
You couldn't. The timing could not have been worse for that whole situation.
Yes,
that was it. Was just timing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That was it.
And unfortunately, we all accept that fact because that's what we signed up for. People are like, why? I knew at some point in my career that I was going to put my life in line. I knew it. Okay, when it was going to be.
The fact that we're sitting here talking is a damn miracle in itself. That's right. I'm like, listen, man, this is all borrowed time. This is extra shit.
Yeah, it is extra.
There's so many times in all these both countries that I mean, multiple times that I was like, well, this is definitely it. Yeah.
My number's up today. The man upstairs pulling my pump card.
This is definitely it.
Yep.
Still sitting here.
No, and I think too with that related is that's why things don't bother me now. You're not blowing me up or shooting at me. So what else? I mean, okay, you yell at me. Other words. Okay, I'll go sit down and have a cup of coffee.
You're gonna say bad things in some Facebook group about me. Yeah, okay,
let's go troll on Facebook for Christ's sakes. You're a man, and I hope whoever's listening understands that if you have something against somebody or don't like what somebody's doing or have a piece, reach out to them. Don't be that guy on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, whatever the hell these social media things are, and say and blast somebody because you don't have the facts.
I got friends that have, once they've gotten out of MARSOC, or I guess predominantly MARSOC now, that have kind of went a different direction than me.
Yeah.
And that we don't, we don't align the same, I guess, beliefs or
ideologies.
Yeah. I don't care. Still friend. I'd still do everything in the world for them. I don't give a shit.
Which is weird.
It's their personal beliefs. I don't care.
I have friends that hate friends that I have, and it's kind of like, well, how do you hang out with that person? Sit down and have a beer. Is that a trick question? Or how do I hang out? Just because you don't like it doesn't mean I can't like them. And it's the day that some person tells me, well, because you see so-and-so, I can't be friends with you. Fuck off then. Go.
Yeah.
Again, my wife fucks me and I get paid once a month. Very well. So they get out of bed. I'm good. What else? What else? Like you said,
it's just a very limiting. I don't know, belief. Limiting way of operating.
Yeah, in our community, they either like you or they hate you.
Well, in Josh Hunt, my business partner and good friends, we were on a Raider team together. I don't know if you remember Josh Hunt.
I remember the name.
He right after he retired, he was in a bad parachute accident at Otay Lakes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Basically had a compound fracture in air.
Holy, who'd he hit?
No, he had nobody.
Was it his opening?
Yeah. So what happened was long story short, he was exiting the aircraft. I don't know if you remember, like the turbulence in Otay is like horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great place for static line. And they opened the static line, the short 5-day course of static line course.
Right.
But I did free fall out there. And it was like when you hit a certain thing, you're shaking the shit out of that chute.
Yep.
It's not a bad, you're already open. So you just,
thermals.
you navigate through a little bit. But anyways, they heard turbulence on. So they did a couple. They were cutting squares a little bit.
Oh, really?
And he's already like, cutting squares, what's going on? He was the one man out. So everything smoothed out. As soon as they opened the thing and they gave the green light, they hit turbulence. He jumped out, came back in, chute opened. His legs got caught in the risers. It caught air, yanked him. Oh. One was around his neck. Somehow that, thank God, because that would have been, he probably would have broke his neck and been done. It wrapped around his leg and then yanked. And then popped his left femur out the back of his leg, out the back of his hamstring. That ended his career. It was done.
Yeah.
So he came to in air. He just did so if you guys are listening to this, go to 42, episode 42 of the Always Forward podcast. And he tells about it. But, and he came to in air and realized, like, did function check, make sure everything was good.
Right.
So this is what's so fucking crazy about our training. Like, we train our guys so well because in that instant, he just went on autopilot. Canopy control checked, and then he once his canopy was good, because he thought it was going to be what's it called? Like,
tangled?
Not tangled, like all twisted
streamer.
Up. Yeah. And he didn't know if he was going to have to like pull it up or cut away. He's like, thank God, like that was one extra thing that I didn't have to do. But everything worked, and then he started doing a body check, and he said his leg was just like nothing. He saw blood, so he immediately went straight to the artery, from our artery, and then pinched it off because he didn't know. He's like, I don't know how bad it is.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
He's like, if I'm up in the air and it's an actual artery, I'm dead before I hit the ground. Before I hit the ground. Yeah. So he just went in and pitched it, and then he started crabbing. He's like, well, as close as I can get to that tee, I'll. That's what amazes me. Like, being 40 now and looking back at our community, and how amazing the training is and the people that are doing the job when they're doing it is. He had that thought. So he's pitching his artery and he's crabbing over to the tee so he can land on the X, be closer to the medic. And as they extend him, he's like, he doesn't know what's going on, but he knows he's bleeding. So he's like, he's just yelling at them, traction tourniquet. And they're like, what? He's like, fucking traction and tourniquet. Anyways, he ended up putting a 17-inch rod, 2 years of recovery, and that was out.
Yeah, when you break your femur, you're kind of screwed.
They were like, "Oh, you're never gonna run or walk again."
You'd be able to run.
That's what the surgeon said, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Especially once the femur heals, if you have the rod, depending on where it's at, they can usually take those rods out depending on
his rod is 17-inch rod in there forever.
Permanent for life.
It's permanent for life.
Yeah.
But he has a little bit of hip issues he has to maintain.
Yeah.
Like some hip mobility and stuff that his hip gets locked up. But other than that, dude, he's fucking doing more than most men are.
Well, again, too, I get asked the question, were you ever scared? I said I was never scared in the midst of what I was doing. Yeah. I was always scared afterwards. Whatever the problem was over with. That's when I'm like, holy shit! That could have been ugly there for a second.
There's a lot of those moments for sure.
And I had somebody. This was years ago. I was at a ball. He says, "Oh, you don't have a Purple Heart?" I said, "No, I ducked."
That's not a award that I want.
I ducked, so I didn't get hit.
Yeah.
Like what? I said, it's kind of a joke. Those that have Purple Hearts, they didn't duck, or their training wasn't well enough. It's all it is a joke. It has nothing to get. I mean, there's sometimes you just can't.
Most of our friends have them.
Yeah. I mean,
I still give them shit.
Yep. So do I. you got to keep them honest, because if you didn't give them shit, they'd be like, "Hey, you okay, Stu?"
Yeah, that's not an award that I would like to earn.
And we had a couple people in our battalion, our first run, that were all about that.
Yeah,
that's all they wanted to get was a Purple Heart and a Silver Star. I'm like, that's an idiot. You can go to PX and buy the bitches. You ain't got to put yourself in front of an open door at night.
Holy shit, Stu! I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
I don't remember the details, so maybe you remember. Our team leaders, James Holland has his framed. I don't even know where mine is. I should frame mine too. He has his award from Iraq framed as like a joke. We got I want to say it was a certificate of accommodation for our actions in Iraq.
What?
Yeah, our team leaders got. I think that's the award. Is that an award? Certificate of appreciation.
Well, it's I mean, it's an award, but it's not an award.
If you don't remember this,
no.
If you read our awards, they read like fucking Bronze Stars, but it's a CERTCOM. What happened?
Well, here, and I'll give you some light on that. Our first trip, there were so many awards that we could give out in the battalion. That's a no-shitter.
There was a quota.
There was a quota.
I do remember something about that, and Phil being all upset.
Oh, he was pissed. And so was I. I'm like, you're telling me that I'm going to give a Bronze Star with a V to this Master Sergeant who was only there to support and supply, wasn't actually in the fight, but I'm going to give this Sergeant Corporal who was in the fight, no shit, throwing lead.
Holy shit, I do remember. I remember one thing. I know one really... There was a kid, not his fault. So if you're listening, if you're the young guy, the supply guy, has nothing to do with you. It's the situation. He got a NAM for reorganizing the QuadCon's gear at the battalion.
Yeah.
He got a NAM. And then our team leaders, and if you read these CERTCOMs, they're like, killed this many enemy, went on this many patrols, did a 5-man thing. Like, I mean, whoever wrote them, I think it was Woodard or Phil probably that wrote them. Like, they read well. Like, they sound awesome.
Woodard was good, though. Woodard could write some awards. Yeah. That guy was smart. Smart as shit.
But the way it's worded, it's like, holy shit, this was amazing. Yeah, but they were all CERTCOMs.
The trip, we try to get a lot of you guys, we try to get you at least Navy Achievement and Navy Comms with Vs at a minimum.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't get a combat action ribbon.
From Iraq?
Yeah. But I got a Navy Com with a V. So let's figure that one out. I don't I don't understand how that all works, but yeah, I didn't get a combat extra. They're like, what? I said, no. And the funny thing is, all conflicts I was involved in, I got a combat award for every one that I was involved in. So I have a combat award for all 3 tours of my duties.
But no combat action for that.
Not for that, no.
Not for that.
I kind of laughed. I'm going, how can you even give me this award if you're not going to give me a combat? I'll take the combat action ribbon. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have the combat action ribbon and put that little gold star on my damn thing.
Yeah.
That's a Navy Com with a V? That makes no damn sense. And if you read mine, obviously Seeley did mine with Kevin Root. It's kind of like, well, I should have been up for a Bronze Star with a V then.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't have got a combat action ribbon for it. It's like, and I was never one about awards. I just thought it was kind of heinous. I was making sure that you guys, especially you guys, got the awards you're supposed to get. And unfortunately, I was told, and corrected quite quickly, that there's a quota that we received from the RCT of how many awards we give out.
So this came back from the RCT again. God, that was a shitty command, man.
Well, when I was over there as a battalion ops chief, I was one of the voters for every award that went out. And there was a couple awards I'm like, wait a minute, we need to up this one or we need to downgrade this one. Because I would never take a Bronze Star without a V. Never. And I was put in for it. And I was like, guys, I can't consciously take that award and put it on my uniform. They're like, why? You're the ops chief. I said, because it's a combat award that's supposed to be associated with a V.
Yeah.
Not knowing, because I was kind of ignorant about it, that there is an administrative Bronze Star during combat that everybody gets in combat for doing your job. That makes no damn sense to me. I was like, because, and hindsight being 2020, I probably would have said yeah back then. Now what I know now, because the extra stuff you get for each state, the tax breaks you get and all that stuff for having a Bronze Star.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to have a V on it.
I guess it's more, that probably even plays in more for the younger guys that are not going to do 26 years then.
Yeah,
and then they're like holding them back. Like, it obviously doesn't do anything for me, but I remember that because I remember reading James Holland's too, and his is like, and that team did some good stuff too. They all did.
Yeah, there was.
But it was like, it's funny to read them. I'll find it and text it to you.
Yeah, you have to, dude.
And because everybody that reads is like, Jesus, dude, what is this piece of paper for? In my head's nothing.
I get the same thing in Israel.
Thanks for coming out. That's what that is.
A participation.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody gets a CERCOM. Here you go. Everybody's good for that.
But that kid got a NAM though for reorganizing the quad cons.
Yeah, I still to this day cannot figure out how the award systems actually go. It confuses the shit out of me. Yeah, it confuses the shit out of me.
I think a lot of it's got to do with, honestly, I feel like it's a lot of politics.
I agree with you.
A lot of politics.
So,
but unfortunately, I think it can affect people's careers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, just knowing the fact that if you have a Bronze Star or higher, the tax breaks you get, the college you get for your kids, the things you get as an individual from the VA, it's huge. And no one knows that. No, like part of your transition. That should be part of your transition piece. If you have these things, here are the options you have, depending on what state you're in. And no one knows that's what that means.
You and Phil tried to make it right when I left, because I left, when I left Oki, you guys gave me, I think it was a NAM.
Yeah, we tried to make it a Navy com.
Yeah. And then if you read it, it includes Iraq. It re-includes Iraq in there with it. And that was the last award I got in the Marine Corps.
Was it really?
Last personal award. Yeah, MARSOC wasn't really about that life.
Yeah, I know, because I retired at 26 years, and usually if you do 24 or more, you get the Legion of Merit when you retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I got the Meritorious Service Medal.
I think you pissed too many people off.
I was like, it's funny too when you have 3 generals call you when you get ready to retire and saying you're a dumbass, you shouldn't retire, you can do this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And then I get the award, and I call the individual who does those approval for those awards, because I knew the guy. I said, "Why did you knock this down to a Meritorious Service Medal?" He goes, "I didn't do shit." He went and looked back. Obviously, his aide does that stuff. Yeah. And they didn't warn it because I didn't do 30 years. But if I was a sergeant major, though, I'd have got the Legion of Merit.
Yeah, you would have.
I was like, how? What's it? Here we go with rank. What the hell? Who cares? If you did your damn job, it's a retire. It's your end of tour award. Yeah, no. So me and I think Moratori, I was kind of glad he got it because he did 30, but he got the Legion of Merit, which is deserving. And people don't realize this. It's a big award as you retire. That's all it's for.
A lot of time, man. People don't realize. Even me, they were like, "What? Do 8 more years?" I'm like, "You fucking stand on your head for 8 more years."
The difficult part, I don't think today I couldn't stay in the Marine Corps 26 years. I just couldn't do it because the way the atmosphere is, and I talked to some higher ups.
I got out at a perfect time.
Yeah,
I left at a perfect time.
I as well.
And keep in mind, like, people don't realize my 12 years was very an intense 12 years. Yeah. It wasn't like, if I would have came in earlier. Yeah, I could have done 10 years, and then that back half would have been very hard. But then I would have hit 20. But I mean, the time that I was in, it was just exhausting, man.
Yeah, you couldn't. I mean, your time. At the end of the day, you were doing too many deployments, and we saw it too. The command.
I'm not going to fault the Marine Corps.
No,
because who's going to go?
That's again.
Like, you're doing too many deployments. Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and because of that,
who else is going to go?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing too many deployments.
That's why it's a volunteer service, brother. I volunteer to go 20 times.
That was something that in my transition I had to kind of let go. I was very angry at the Marine Corps, hence the scar.
Yeah.
That used to be my EGA.
And why is it not there now?
Cut it out. I was fucking angry, bro.
Yeah.
I was angry. And the year as we went on, I had to realize, like, first of all, it's all volunteer service.
Yep.
I volunteered. Not only did I volunteer for 3 enlistments, but also for Recon, for MARSOC, multiple times.
Yep.
Those fuckers kept making me go through selection processes. So I was like, sure, I'll volunteer. I'll volunteer again.
Yeah, sign me up for that one. I'll take it. Another screening.
Yeah, can I get I'd like to get kicked in the nuts again, please. Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another? But I had to realize, all of that shit was my choice.
Yes.
And that's why I tell young people now, like, whoa, these vets. I'm like, was there a draft?
Yeah.
Did you get made to do something or go somewhere? Pretty sure you have to raise your hand.
Yeah.
And say yes, send me. And and I had to get to the realize that Marine Corps' job is not to make Nick successful.
Correct. It's for you.
That's my job.
Yep.
Marine Corps' job is to train, equip its people to go fight and win our nation's battles.
Correct.
That's the Marine Corps' job. It's not to make Nick a good civilian. It's not to make him healthy as a civilian as he gets out. When you decide to leave out, that's on you, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. Are there some shitty programs in place to try to kind of halfway help you? Sure. At the end of the day, though, if the VA doesn't work for you, it is your job to go get yourself taken care of and figure out a way. That's just the reality of it. Well, they should do, shoulda, woulda, coulda, sure. It ain't the way that's not the way it is.
You got to take responsibility for yourself.
That's what it is. Personal responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, if something doesn't go my way, again, the answer no. I'm going to find out why you're telling me no, because it's an excuse not to do work.
Yeah.
Period. If you have no in your vocabulary, take it out.
Yeah.
Because that's why you're not moving forward in life, I think. You need to go out and, if it's about you, you got to go fix it for yourself, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, but if you need care, and what do?
I make a phone call. I call the VA, or I call who can associate for what type of care I need. Like for right now, as you know, I've had multiple surgeries.
Yeah.
Joints replaced or rebuilt. Both my knees are yoked right now, and I have. Well, you saw me stand up. I have a heart. I'm like old decrepit dude.
Well, you're due for another knee replacement.
Yeah, unfortunately. But again, too, I still wake up with a smile. As much pain as I am in right now, I still get up and smile. You know why? Because life's good.
But that's a choice, right?
Yeah.
You're making a choice
for myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I can sit back and be always me, and I hurt or I need this. No, don't. Make your own life. Stand the hell up. There you go. Be a man.
Be a fucking man.
Yeah, stand your up.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't agree to you, go find out why. Don't take no. To this day, it bothers the shit out of me that we have veterans that will accept the word no easily.
And they just go, oh, they told me no. What the fuck?
Yeah, go. Who'd you talk to? So no, go back. And here's why. I mean, show you. I'll give it to you in black and white, so you're not going down there like a dumbass. But here's your black and white. And that's the thing a lot. Educate yourself before you fix the problem.
Yeah. Because
if you're not fixing it right now, you're not educated enough to fix that problem. Again, there's a solution to everything. I don't give a shit what it is. There is a solution. Yeah. You just got to find it. But
so
who am I?
Let's you're an old guy. I've been in the Marine Corps a long time.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's why they call me the gray beard.
So
and Johnny Slick.
Ding
ding.
So tell me if you can. I'm sure, and I'm sure it'll be embellished because fish stories grow as over time. Yeah, remember? Give me a really funny story, and because you were pre-war.
Yeah.
You guys did a lot of fun shit back in the day.
We did.
You were the crew running around with MP5s and
with taped flashlights to the front of the silencers. Tape.
You guys were doing SWAT shit back in the day, Well,
the funny thing is you say that because when I got the 2nd Recon Battalion, I didn't go to ARS right away. There was other contingencies. So we got picked up for contingency that 2nd Force couldn't do. This was in 1988. So we did a trial piece. It was 63 guys got together, and we went out and we had to shoot, and we jumped, and we did all this other stuff to get picked for this platoon to go do Praying Mantis. Okay. Go plat out in the mid. And it's all new to us. We're wearing, flight suits and point blank gear and all this stuff. We thought we were all that in a bag of chips, and I'm like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. we're recon boys. Remember then it was JV for recon.
Right.
Your varsity was force recon.
Right. That's why I was pissed when I had to go to because I came into 2nd Force.
Yeah.
Mike McAvoy sent me to 2nd. Yeah. And that's how I got into recon.
Yeah.
And then I went out. I got orders at 3rd Recon. I was like, "What the fuck? I'm a sergeant. Why are you sending me a JV squad?"
And I'm telling you right now, 3rd Recon Battalion is the hidden gem within the Marine Corps.
It's a fucking hidden gem. It was the best thing that ever happened to me,
without a doubt. If you can patrol
and
in places like that,
and do all the direct action, I was like, the guys that come out of the Recon Marines that come out of 3rd. Cut above.
I agree.
Everybody else.
And I've been, on the East Coast, both the force and the battalion side, and I know guys from the battalion and force side of the West Coast. And there's no reconnaissance element that trains as hard as they do, or we did.
That's all you do.
That's all because that's all you had this time.
That's all you had, yeah.
If you weren't in the Philippines or Thailand training or teaching, you were in Guam doing
or you were up in the jungle.
Yeah, and NTA. If you can patrol an NTA, you can patrol anywhere in the world. I don't give a shit what it was. Because it's hard to walk in some place where it's broad daylight at noon and you get in that triple canopy and you're like, shit, I need MPGs right now.
Yeah.
It's only 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's just that they're more well-rounded Marines than they are in the other battalions.
And they come back and they can do just about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for us that we did a great job. I know when I was in Okinawa, how like 5th Force before they disbanded, how well those guys, they could patrol, they could swim, they could shoot, they could jump, they could do it all.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think where they were at and where we're at now. I mean, that's with MARSOC. I still have a little discontent because you can't start an elite unit with elite shitheads.
Well, it's been fixed.
Yes, it has been. Without it. The first year I was there, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I was there to disband MARSOC. I was there to destroy it.
I remember you even told me that. You're like, I'm here to fuck this place up.
Yeah, I'm here to destroy it. I'm here to take this common sense, whatever they want to call this shit. These guys that are shitheads that were in most battalions that are now a MARSOC Marine and walk around like peacocks with their chest out. No, dude. Because that ain't happening. I'm putting your fucking feathers back and I'll sit you in your ass because you're not playing.
Yeah.
You suck. But yeah, again today, I mean, the Marines over at MARSOC, they're phenomenal kids.
Well, I mean,
They're
when they took, it was painful for the reconnaissance. We fucked the reconnaissance community over. Like we
raped
just raped them.
We did.
Because you took first and 2nd Force and made them basically 1st and 2nd Raider Battalion now. That's what really helped. It was the first initial thing that helped.
Yeah, once we got the MOS, I think that's where we got better.
And then,
and I think too with that, I was in disagreement initially about everybody getting a badge after graduating ITC because the badges to me associate to insert capabilities or what you do. And then I had to get smart and realize like, you're a dumbass, dude. I said, this is a badge saying that you're in this unit. It has nothing to do with your jumping, your diving, your language.
No, it's your MOS,
right?
Like an EOD badge
Exactly.
or anything else.
So I mean,
but you got to look at it from your peers, right?
Yeah.
Like our peers were SEALs and Green Berets, and I think there's some other people out there in the Air Force. I'm not sure what they do.
CCTs and PJs.
I'm just like giving them shit.
That's where I'd go if I ever do it again.
Dude, talk about like getting taken care of.
Oh yeah,
those boys are spoiled. I love you, but you're spoiled.
And they're good at it because in Okinawa, I used to travel with the CTT guys or the PJs to the Philippines and Thailand.
Oh
yeah, trained.
Yeah,
so
we had them on our teams up in Afghanistan. Came through a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of good dudes. If you look at back in the early 90s, 94, 95, 96 timeframe, a lot of the CCTs and PJs that were in the Air Force were our guys from Force that got out of the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And that's the direction they went. Kinder, gentler, more money, better facilities, better gear.
Get taken care of. Yeah.
Oh, you woke up in the morning like, hey, make sure that you clean over in that corner there because your maid's in your house now. Yeah. And the person's supposed to iron your clothes.
And 2 sugars with my espresso.
Yes.
2 sugars.
I mean, everybody makes fun of the Air Force, but I'll tell you what, they do it right.
Yeah, they do.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. They serve our country and they do it right. They take care of their people.
I mean, if my kids say I want to join the military, I'm like, let's go look at the Air Force.
Yes. Let's go look at the Air Force. Because you're doing the same, if anything, the PJs and the CCT guys are doing the same shit we're doing more consistently.
Yeah.
Where we have our bouts, I tell everybody, we get in a conflict like every 8 to 10 years. Yeah. That's how the Marine Corps runs. But those guys are doing it continuously.
Because they're supporting everybody. Yeah.
And they're very well at it.
Going back to the 80s and the early 90s, give me some history lessons too. What kind of shit went back down back then?
Well, prior to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, obviously we did the Mediterranean floats and stuff. We
don't have to share everything. There's some things that probably don't need to be shared.
We'll share this one because it was a national incident, but international incident. So we were on a med float. Barry Elrod, Mike Muller, and Mike Seeley were my team. And we were in Lisbon, Portugal, on Libbo. We were supposed to be there for 5 days. So my team got the privilege of being on duty the first night in port.
Okay.
Within 2 hours of everybody being out doing their thing, we've been on the water probably about 30, 35 days. We haven't seen a port.
What year is this?
1989.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. We're like, what the fuck's going on? So we go out in the pier. We're in Charlie's because we're on duty with boots and billy clubs because all of a sudden there's a national...
Charlie's and boots?
Yeah, we were in Charlie's standing the gangplank.
Okay.
But all of a sudden this riot came out, the cops against us. So we went back. I told my guys, hey, go back, put fucking shoes, put your boots on. We're going out and whoop some ass. So we're out there with our duty belts, our Charlies on, our ribbons and everything, and billy clubs. And we actually got in a no-shit throwdown fight with the cops there because Canadians threw a motorcycle into the water fountain in the middle of town in Lisbon, Portugal, and destroyed it. They blamed it on us. So our guys were getting shot with rubber bullets, kicked in the nuts. I mean, to the point of this guy Erickson got kicked so hard he was bleeding when he was urinating. That's how bad it was. So there's over 200 Marines and sailors that were injured in this riot, if you want to call it that. Our ship's captain, the meds, our battalion, the MU CO was in jail, to include both the religious people were in jail, plus another 40 people. So basically that night, people were coming on the gangplank, bleeding from their face. They had big old welts and all that stuff. People going to the hospital. There was like 400 people total off our boat that were either in jail or were injured in Lisbon, Portugal.
Holy shit.
The Canadians were parked right behind us on our Harrier boat. So when it all broke out, them bitches loaded, no tow, no nothing, and pulled the hell out of port.
No, of course they did.
I mean, they had no guide boats, pilot boats at all. Packed that shit up, pulled them out, and they were gone. Everybody. So it's like, and we got put on lockdown for another day or two, but it was an international incident. It was bad.
How did it wash out?
They found out the Canadians are the ones that threw the bike through the window and into that pond. It wasn't us.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Oh, sorry.
These guys got these big ass rubber ball melts. Like Erickson,
luckily nobody died.
We were shocked. We had a kid, Ritterbeck, came in. He had 28 stitches put in his head because he got hit with a billy club while he was out there. And he came back. The only reason he came back is he wanted to get another billy club or something bigger to go back out and start whipping some ass.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you go see the doc, man.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I thought was probably the funniest float I've ever been on.
What the hell did the MU commander say after that?
He was in jail.
I mean, after when he got out.
Hey, watch your P's and Q's. I mean, the thing was that no one knew what actually happened. We didn't know shit for the first 3 days. Why actually did this event happen? And then finally, the CO of the boat came on and said, "Hey, this, and this, and this is why." And I totally understood it. I get it. We're in somebody else's country.
Yeah.
We're throwing shit through windows and destroying our damn little neighborhood in Lisbon. Oh my God, beautiful country. And the women, thank God I was single then, were gorgeous. Their dark hair, blue eyes. They had a light skin to them. Oh my God, I'll shut up now. My wife will get mad at me. But I mean, it was just a beautiful country, and we were in there screwing it up. You know, so
well, the Canadians were.
Yeah. No, but it's the funny part was the Canadians were on the pier, kind of bringing people in and helping them triage.
Yeah.
And we're watching this boat. These people running onto this boat, and all of a sudden it's just picking up anchor and it's gone. I was like, what? Don't you need a pilot boat to get? Because it wasn't a big port we were in, so you had to get pushed out and return.
They were like, we're out.
Fuck it, I got this. It's the night. It's like midnight, and they're out. They're gone. They're pulling out of port. So, and then we found out what the actual thing. I say, I don't blame these people. I don't. Let's see, what's Saudi was a good one. Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Everybody thought it was this holy shit war. It wasn't. It was maybe 24 hours, maybe 36 total.
I sometimes feel bad because I get these vets like, well, it was Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and I was like, and from my point of view, I'm like, listen, I understand that you did something. I have had patrols in combat last longer than your entire war.
Yes. 110%. Yes.
One patrol has lasted longer than your entire war.
It comes down to where the old guys say, well, in my day we did this, and you got the young guys going, well, in my day we did this. Why would you do that then? That's fucking dumb. Like, why do you got a gas mask on and a sling rope around your neck running the dunes? For what? What's the purpose for that? To harden you up, to make you harder. You don't do shit. It's not making me hard.
I'm busy getting shot at.
It's pissing me off. But exactly, because each conflict, no one can ever compare any conflict we've been in to Vietnam.
That's what I say. Even still to this day, I'm like, I'm
as much of the throwdown stuff that
the only thing I say about Vietnam is yes, it was drafted. Most guys did one tour.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Right. And then we're sending that. My only comparison is you look at the damage that a guy going to Vietnam did in one tour at Vietnam, and we're sending it, not anymore, obviously, but during my era, we were sending guys upwards of how many times?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Countless.
Right.
So that's my only comparison is like draft, one tour, all volunteer service. I mean, before T died, I mean, I think he was at like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing too. You gotta look at that back then too. if you wanted to stay another tour, you could stay, but it was an administrative piece. The first couple months, you were back on your second tour in Vietnam. It is what it was. They didn't know who their enemy was. That's the problem. We at least had an identifier. Hey, if you're wearing a tracksuit or driving an Opel, I can fuck you up, which our guys did. You know, it's like, well, how did you do that? That's part of the ROEs, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think the Vietnam era guys. I love you to death. I praise you with all part of my body and soul. We screwed you, and we're still screwing you. Yeah. You know, the fortunate thing is guys like yourself that are now coming out saying, hey, there's a problem. Yeah. And then providing a solution to that problem. They didn't do it in the Vietnam era. You know, my dad, who's 78 now. Yeah, 78. Vietnam. Did a tour. Is nasty. He got shot 6 times. I'm like, dude, if you got shot once, don't you think you want to move so you don't get shot the second time? Like, you guys, fuck you. But anyway, you know, those guys.
My grandfather did one. He got drafted in Korea, 2 tours in Vietnam as a paratrooper, and died at 67, basically old age.
Well, it's weird you say that because my father has stage 4 lung cancer. Now, he's terminal, right? When you hear stage 4 lung cancer, hey, your stuff's went in your lymph nodes. You're dead. Yeah. That's it. It's a matter of time. Not my fucking dad. He goes and gets 2 treatments of chemotherapy and then 2 treatments of immune therapy. His lung spot that he had was 7.4 centimeters is now 4.3. I said, you're so ornery and miserable that death doesn't want your ass. That's how bad you are. But that's a Vietnam.
That's how much of a pain in the ass you are.
Yeah.
That's like, nah, he's too much.
And he bitches, oh, that's not why. I said, you're the only guy. He had it in his lymph nodes. Yeah. It's gone.
That's wild.
I was like, so you're telling me that the man upstairs doesn't want your dumb ass? He's just saying, hey, we're going to leave you down here until you.
As long as possible.
Because I don't want your ass up here.
There's a different level of grit for sure.
Those guys are harder than woodpecker lips.
I mean, we talk about you guys being hard back then. Like they had the shit the equipment that they had in the like even in the reconnaissance communities and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, what?
One canteen for 3 days?
What the fuck?
It's like, yeah, I'd have died. I'd be sucking up my IV bags, which I'd done that before. Yeah. It's out of control. That's a good story. We're in, I was the 2nd Force. We're in Tunisia, and we're doing an op, and we had to get up this big-ass hill. We had 3 days to get there. It was 22 clicks total. So a buddy of mine, Tommy Stafford, who went on to do great things with one of the other groups, agencies. So we're walking. We ran out of water like 2nd day. It was hot as fuck. Yeah. We all went out with 10 quarts. So we got to the top of the hill. I think I had a quart left.
Holy shit.
And I think Matt V had a quart left.
In a day?
This is our 2nd day.
Second day.
We had a quart left. So we say, okay, we're almost at our objective. Let's get the objective. Let's get up there. We'll set up and get a resupply in. So we get up there. The resupply is going to come in 11 hours. We have 1 quart of water left for the 4 of us.
And you're already dehydrated.
We're dying.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all definitely no shit into that piece of you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, okay, we all have IV bags. Everybody carried 2 bags with 2 needles. I said, all right, let's get the IVs out. Let's start to sticking people. I hit Tommy Stafford, got his 2 bags in. And he tries to hit me with my 2 needles. He could not. I'm like, dude, give me that fucking thing. Let me do it myself, for Christ's sake. So I'm using the same needle trying to get it in my veins.
Oh, man.
It got to the point where we just couldn't do it because I was so dehydrated.
There's nothing to stick there.
I take both IV bags and pour it in my 2-quart canteen, put some orange drink into it.
Oh, you drank it?
I drank the whole thing.
Was it LR or saline?
Saline.
Oh.
And it tasted like ass. The worst thing I've ever drank in my life, but I had to do it to survive. Again, things you have to do just to do it. Normally, I'd say, fuck that. Let me get a bottle of water, But then you couldn't. It was just funny because we're all sitting there with IV bags except for Stu with a 2-quart canteen drinking.
Well,
Tommy's like, hey, my bag's out. Yeah, you fucker. Yeah, change the bags out for you. Fuck. Yeah. But, I mean, that's the things you went through. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
But you tell somebody that story, and they're kind of like, what? Yeah, I mean, I had to do something to survive. If not,
that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I would have went down for dehydration.
What'd you do during, where were you at in your career during Desert Shield, Desert Storm when you were over there?
I was a corporal. I just got orders to go to 2nd Force, but they wouldn't let me execute them until we got back from Desert Shield, Desert Storm. So I literally went over there as the company supply guy is what my job was. So I had my team that was still there, and then Kevin Corp and his team. So we were the headquarters team. So there was 8 of us, and that's what we did over there. So
what did you guys do?
We did OP5. So we did all the RNS stuff prior to the breach. So we're the 2nd Recon Battalion, did all the drawings for the breach points. So all the breach points that the Marine Corps went through off OP5, we did all those drawings. So we did all the R&S for that. We actually, once we pushed through the breach point, we moved up to what they call the onion field, because they're getting ready for this big thing, the Highway of Death.
Yeah.
They put us out in the onion field by a 6-ring highway.
Yeah.
We watched the B-52s come over. And you talk about an amazing thing in life. You just sit there going, you're looking up at the sky going, holy shit. And then it just opens up. You just see these arcs, flashes all over the place. And the next day, we actually drove to the Highway of Death to help the Brits. I don't know what we're doing. We're out there picking up, I don't know. But there was, between the vehicles and the people that were over there, you could just see the destruction that this stuff laid out. But there was toys and stuffed animals and food. And I mean, it was just for miles. That's what it was. You know, we ran over. I was driving a Humvee and I kind of was maneuvering through, and all of a sudden I saw a stink come up out of the sand. And I was like, what the fuck is that? It was somebody's hand. So I ran over a guy that was underneath the sand, and his hand popped up.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird. Take a picture.
That was your pretty much first experience to that kind of world. Yeah.
Yeah. To basically go through that, I mean, we had the, obviously, Michael Cook died over there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know that you saw the memorials, but he was the only one. That was just something that was just no one could control. Yeah. You know, they were missing a grenade. They found it, and when he pulled his dew scare out, it went off.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing that he was the only one that was killed during that. You had Woody Gerard and Owens who got peppered. They're about 25 feet in front of where he was. And then a sergeant that was down our patrol line, because everybody had their vehicles when they came back on patrol, got hit with a piece of strap in the side. It went through his back.
That was I remember when we coming into reconnaissance, that was like a big lesson that was still talked about, and the reasons why we had SOPs and the reasons why, and they use that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it probably, as sad as that was, it probably
saved an assload of lives.
Saved an assload of lives. Like the way that they would strap those things on back then compared to what we do it now is like
well, the thing too, we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, you had some guys that still that were around from the Vietnam era, not many. Sergeant Major Duke, who's a legend in his own. I'm going to eventually get him on my podcast to talk to him.
He's still alive?
Yeah. He's doing well. Him and his wife doing well. He's just when he came to us as a staff sergeant, he was a captain in the Army, was asked to leave for certain reasons, but his certain reasons were valid.
Yeah. So
he came to the Marine Corps as a staff sergeant. And once he got to us, it got around to who this cat was. Yeah. And you kind of like, you bowed to him when you saw him. Hey, sorry. Well, then say staff sergeant. So I took him out on a patrol with me to teach me E&R, E&E stuff then, E&R now. And that guy had a dog, and he would sneak up in our ORP. We never hear him. He'd be sitting there with his freaking dog, and we're going through. No, you don't want to do that. I'd be like, what the? Where did you come from? I'll get you. Then they leave. And a couple hours later, you're in your middle of your patrol. You're setting up your harbor site and looking for places for your avenue approach and egress. He goes, that's not good. How are you sneaking up with a dog? You're sneaking up with us in the bush over by the swamp behind Falcon, where Falcon's at. Yeah. That's where we were doing our Camp No Bone.
Those woods are nothing to him.
Yeah. I was like, what are we doing? But again, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately for him, and we keep his memory alive quite a bit. I mean, we make sure that he's got a street named after him now, and he's got a few other things that his mom and dad done very well doing, just like the Friskies.
Yeah.
You know, so they take good care of him. But our community still reaches out to those two individuals. Why is that? Because that's just the way we are.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about today. I don't know what the new guys do, but you always made sure you kept up with the families. Like Corporal Lee is a good example.
Yeah.
You know, tragic as that was, but his parents adopted his dog.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kept in contact with him for a while. I lost, obviously, over a couple of years, but yeah, it's just one of those things.
Well, I mean, Gary's spot in Texas is like named their harbor site for recon Marines.
Yeah. That
place, and that their little, it looks like a damn Texas camp. But yeah, I rehad my, did you ever hear about this? My paddle from Okinawa?
No.
So I had my paddle party when I left Okinawa, and of course these fuckers did it the night before I left.
Yeah.
Like, I got a family. I got to get on a plane, and I don't even remember. Was it like 24 hours to get home or something like that?
Yeah, it is 22 to 24 hours
to get home.
Yep.
So I had a very traditional 3rd Recon paddle party,
the night before.
Yep.
And I had to basically, I remember Lane and Tony Kano dropped me off in my van at the hotel as the sun's coming up. I'm completely soaking wet. My boots are soaked.
Why is that? It's just a traditional paddle party, isn't it? Why is that?
And they just open the door, chuck me out, and drive off. And I remember stuffing newspapers in my shoes, trying to get them to dry out so they wouldn't be wet on the plane, because we had to basically I had to get my whole family packed up and
move
them. And I'm hammered. My wife at the time was just like, "What the fuck?"
Wouldn't have it any other way though.
No.
So it develops.
So anyways, they're gonna send me my paddle, right? I
Right.
can't take it on a plane, so they're gonna pack it up and send it to me. Never shows up. Gone.
Really?
10 years later, Stu, I get a call from Kano. He said, "Hey, dude, you're not gonna believe this. My mom has been living in this place for about a year, and your paddle just showed up to her house."
Really?
Bro, there have been rats crawling through this thing. There's stickers. There's Japanese stickers all over it. Where this paddle went, I have no idea. But it made it back to the States to some random address of Kano's mom.
No kidding.
And so when we went out there and did Gary's, it might have been his 10-year memorial or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we did a memorial out there. A lot of people showed up. And anyways, they had refixed it up and gave it to me. And then for the second time, but this time I was sober. I didn't drink a drop. So yeah,
and that's probably one that hangs more memorable in your paddles than anyone else.
10 years, man. It was gone.
That's weird.
Wild, bro.
But you got it though. That's what's weird about it. You got the thing eventually.
I got the thing, and it was so freaking good. That was the one that Phil was pissed because that's the one he got with the chaplain. I don't remember the chaplain's name. Our chaplain in Iraq.
Yeah, what else?
He did the coffee thing, the coffee shop for us.
And
he did it just so that guys would come in there and get coffee so we could talk to him.
Yep.
Brilliant chaplain.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And but Phil made that paddle. Like he went out and with the chaplain
and made that
and made it.
That sounds like Phil.
Went to the. I mean, I was like, dude. I mean, I get choked up, but yeah.
Yeah. What's weird you say that because paddles are very significant in our community. Very significant. Obviously, everybody in the Marine Corps gets one now because that's what they think is cool to do. But anyway, learn the history first. Anyway, besides that,
your paddle sucks.
Yeah, it's always seemed like when I was at Force was the worst because we used to spray paint them.
Yeah,
and do this. This guy out in town used to do them, and they were the paddles. When I first got my paddle, my very first one was in 1991. I got from Second. It was a little sweep. Wasn't a full sweep, a little sweep. I was like, I was so proud of that thing. Like, yeah, this is great. I get the Second Force, and I get this long sweep because I was a team leader, obviously.
Yeah.
And just the detail of things in there. And then I get the one from 3rd Recon. That's my cherished piece is the one from 3rd Recon Battalion. It's all driftwood that's been glued together to make my paddle. You know, people, the significance about paddles, other than the tradition, is the amount of people that put their hands on it.
Yeah.
That's when you know how much respect you had with those guys. And when they presented, there's 32 of us that put our hands on this. I'm like, God knows, for what? What's the purpose for this? But just the thought process of those guys going through that. Yeah, it's
a thank you.
I mean, it's the best paddle I have hanging on my wall.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's just one of those things. But again, too, I wish people understood the tradition, why paddles are given out, especially in our community.
And sizes and all the different behinds.
Short sweep, long sweep and stuff. Yeah. If people understood the tradition, maybe the paddles that are given out today would have different meaning.
Yeah.
Those outside of our units, so.
The one I got from, I like, both of them, but both of them are amazing. I have two. And that Okinawa one though, man, because of how much we did in that amount of time.
Yeah.
In 3 years, I went from an assistant team leader to a team leader to a platoon sergeant, and it was a lot. And that's what we kind of talked about in Okinawa. Like, there's a lot of life that happens in Okinawa because how much you do and how fast you do it.
I think too with that, you know who the true leaders are going to be when you're in Okinawa. Put them in certain positions, and you do it on purpose. Hey, I want to make you a team leader, and you put them out 2 or 3 patrols, and the guys come back, you ask questions. Okay, he just doesn't have what it takes.
Yeah.
Like for us, before we left, we had a platoon sergeant that stole all our shit while we were gone, that we had to fire, which never deployed. And then we had another platoon sergeant who had more, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, no, he's a piece of shit. I'm looking for any
issues.
Issues, yeah.
That's a word.
A man that comes into an office and cries to you because he can't deploy. He can't go to Iraq because it's against his feelings. He has too much trauma. Dude, shut the fuck up.
Well, I'll be honest, that was probably a good thing that not on that one. We can't.
I sit back and think sometimes if I didn't fire him and put Tony in place of him, where we would have been.
Devastating.
Yeah, because he was a weak fucker. And,
yeah.
you know, Tony is as dry as Tony is. I love him to death, man. I love him. He's one of those guys, he's a one-in-a-lifetime person that you meet. But, you know, he came out there with balls of fire.
Yeah.
And he never, ever strayed from asking a question. Okay, we're doing this op. Like our very first one.
He got thrown into something that was almost above his head at the time.
Yeah, way above. And he grew quick.
Had to.
Yeah. So, you know, good on to Davis and Phil for taking him under his wing and kind of helping him out because he was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
First two missions.
How do you not?
Yeah.
How are you not?
Here's a brand new platoon you only been with for less than a month.
And they were all babies.
Yeah. All right out of BRC.
Yeah.
You know, and to take that platoon and do the things that your platoon did down there, the accolades were, I mean, my company, we did well.
You did.
That's all I'm going to say. And it wasn't because of me or Kevin Rue. It's because the guys below us. You know, they were super platoon sergeants. We had great team leaders. But there was a camaraderie.
It wasn't even that. Like, I'm thinking about my platoon. Like, we had guys, like, the slackmen in our platoon were something. Looking back, I'm just, like, blown away
they were stellar.
at the caliber of of men that we had in there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, absolutely just mind-blowing.
No, the good thing is that it allows, like for me, further in my career, is you could look back on those things and see what type of individuals like that. Like DeShane was another one. That guy was just an animal.
That was the first person I was thinking about, Remington DeShane.
Yeah, it's like, this guy, who is this kid? You know, he's a fucking beast. And what's funny is he never gave me shit. Not a single bit. Everybody else, he'd fucking throw through a wall. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, if he comes in there, I'll have to shoot this motherfucker, hit him with a baseball bat. But I mean, just like that, Ernst, I thought was anybody can sit and learn the language.
I've talked about Ernst. I've talked about Ernst a lot on podcasts.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, Ernst was a borderline serial killer.
Well, the very first that thing where you and your team, we were up by the 6th ring, that Cloverly. We're at that Army base. Mm-hmm. You guys got in that big bass firefight, and Ernst finally got to use that. Was a Mark 12 that we gave him?
M110. Well, it's called the M110 SAT. Mark 11.
Mark 11.
It was Mark 11 back then. Yeah.
Showing pictures. I'm like, what? He said, I think it was 300 meters, and he
on
was
the move.
Yeah, he's so happy. I was like, dude, that's fucking great.
For those of you who don't know, this guy, he's a grown ass man now, but he was a kid then, I guess.
He was.
He was a radio operator. He was a recon radio operator.
Yeah.
And he's so much of a nerd. We got those Mark 11s. He read the manual on the scope and the gun, and basically that was it.
Yeah.
He completely read the manual like it was a novel, learned everything about the manual, and then smoked some dude egressing from an IED site at like 300 yards out of a truck.
It was like he got his first bicycle, or he got his first present or something. It's like he come in, it's like, Top, you got to see this. And he shows me the pictures. I'm like, okay, this is a little morbid, but okay, I get it. And he explained it to me. I'm like, hey, good on you. But I mean, he also learned the language in less than 2 weeks.
Yep.
I mean,
he spoke. He was in 2 weeks. He was basically our like resident on-site interpreter.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He knew all the key phrases to ask. Yep. And the two interpreters, we had 2 out of the 4 I thought were phenomenal.
Yeah,
I can't remember the one.
Well, one was he was a Kurd, the big guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so his family a bunch of his family was murdered up north when Saddam gassed them all. So he was a little extra.
It was funny because we weren't allowed to give him guns. We had the one turret with us the one time. I was like, hey, here you go. Gave him an AK. I said, whatever you do, don't stand behind me. Stand alongside of me, so I don't want you fucking shoot me in the head. But yeah, he always thrived to get education. He had to learn. He had to learn everything. And I would ask him, I said, how do you do it? Because I tried to learn the language for like 2 minutes. I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't even speak English. You want me to speak a foreign language, for Christ's sakes? I know habla español. No.
Yeah, no.
Shit. So at the end of the day, it's just, again, the caliber of guys that I was exposed to through my 26-year career and the people that were in charge of me gave me the foundations that I used through my career.
Yeah.
And especially when I picked up Master Guns. I'm like, I'm at the top of the food chain. You guys use my rank as a whore coin.
Yeah. You
get in any trouble now if you're fucking wrong and you fucked up, I'm gonna have your ass. Yeah. And everybody knew that. So I never had to worry about it. But yeah, I'd go chew out sergeant majors for chewing out my guys in line. At the chow hall, especially at Stone Bay. Oh, they're all dirty and stuff. Well, yeah, we're actually working. We're actually doing training here. So take your happy ass out and get the fuck out.
You had
of
my
here.
back in Iraq. I don't remember that. We got out. My team got out of patrol.
Is that a chow hall?
We went to the chow hall. I got yelled at by some sergeant, but it wasn't our base. We were at what was the base across the river, across on the other side of Fallujah. Fuck, I don't remember.
I don't know, top of my head. I don't. I have an idea what you're talking about. Is everybody at train tracks?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the grunt unit was over there.
Yeah. So I was walking. We had just got out of patrol. It was just my team. We had been in the field for, I don't even know. Like, we were fucked up looking, but we hadn't eaten.
Right.
And so we went and like washed our hands and cleaned up as best we could. Sergeant Major lost his shit on me, and I basically told him to fuck off. I was like, listen, my guys are gonna go eat. Yeah. And it was like a bougie ass chow hall. They had like dessert circles and all kinds of shit in there. I was like, we're definitely crushing all of this.
Yeah, we're eating here.
Like pasta buffet, pizza buffet,
yeah.
And he lost it and was like trying to figure out who he worked for. And I remember you were like, don't, like, it got to the command, which I think somebody in the command did have a hard on for it, but whatever. But you came to you and you told me, said, don't worry about it.
Nope.
Done deal.
Well, that's like when we were in Fallujah one time. I guess it was Tony's guys came back. I met him at the chow hall. It just got back from our two
engineers.
Yeah. These guys are out, I think it was like almost 12 to 18 hours picking up body parts.
Yeah.
And they were crushed. You could see it. Their morale, they were crushed.
It's horrible. That's a horrible, yeah.
Got him in the chow hall, and the sergeant major comes in. He's just barking. He's yelling at Tony and everything. I'm a master sergeant. I walk up. I say, is there an issue here? And he goes, oh, these guys are all blah, blah. And I just very calmly said, Sergeant Major, you need to fuck off and walk away.
Yeah.
These guys just got done picking up two of their best friends for the past 12 hours. These guys are going to go in this chow hall. They're going to eat. And when they're done, they will go back to the battalion area, and they will clean up appropriately like they're supposed to. They washed their hands. They made sure they didn't have blood all over their damn hands. I said, they are going to eat. And he says, who do you think you are? I said, well, I'm the guy that's going to allow them to eat and then kick your ass for running your mouth. And kind of find out the Sergeant Major came to Pickering. So I went down to the office, and I told Sergeant, I said, I'm not even going to talk to this fucking clown. The day you criticize my Marines for eating chow is the day that you die in my spot.
Yeah.
You just fuck off, dude. And I was walking out, and Pick.
Yeah.
He's very political.
Yeah.
Well, Master Sergeant Stueber, we got to do. I said, no, Sergeant Major, this guy's a punk. Yeah. He's a fucking bitch. This is what I'm talking about you E9 Sergeant Majors. You're worthless. We're in combat, for Christ's sakes. These guys just got back from picking up body parts, and you're going to bitch at them for getting chow?
Yeah.
Dude, no. Go back to your pogue fucking post and stay there. Bitch at your Marines for not having bloused boots. I can talk well today, huh? Blouse boots, and their camis are good. Don't bitch these guys because they're in flight suits and they got a little bit of blood on them. Stop.
Welcome to the show, asshole.
I'm sorry. We're in Iraq, are we not? We're in the middle of a combat zone. That's where we're at. And this happens to be our safe haven. We should be able to do whatever the hell we want in this safe haven. Yeah. So I wasn't too liked by that Sergeant Major the rest of the tour. But again, I didn't give a shit because my boys were taken care of. I didn't give a shit about nothing else but you guys. That's all I cared about. I mean, I stay up 2-3 days straight.
And Nick trimming his mustache.
Yeah. Some people had with regulations within the Marine Corps thinking, well, I'm in combat. What's the big deal?
We were all doing it. Remember Phil's? Like, what the fuck?
I think we all had some decent mustaches going for the longest time. And then when I was corrected, I was like, fuck, I'll just shave mine off. But
that's what you said. You're like, Nick, just shave that shit off. Yeah, I'm like, no, man.
Just be done. It's a purpose.
It's my fucking combat mustache.
I have a purpose here. It's a part of my garb. So when I suit up, I'm like, okay, let me check out the stash. Yeah, it looks good. I want to trim it a little bit. But again, two people get around the axle about stupid little shit. You're in the middle of a combat zone, and these kids are just trying to eat, and you're being a dick about it.
And survive.
Yeah,
and
and
keep
they're
their
not,
friends alive. Yeah.
they're not doing nothing wrong. Okay, because
No.
they don't look presentable. They're not in a fucking 5-star restaurant. Okay, I get it. But you know what? Tough shit, dude. Because here's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
I was even worse, though, when I picked up Master Guns. Because unless you had a star on your collar, you didn't talk to me as an officer.
That's awesome. Though.
Period. You know, you walk in my office at schoolhouse, had a colonel walk in. He was bitching, complaining. I was like, sir, can I help you? You're Master Gun Stueber? I'm like, yes, I am. He goes, you know, you dropped 2 of my guys. Well, it's probably for a reason. Who were your 2 guys? And he starts yelling. I said, stop. Take your happy ass. Get out, sir. Go see the general. He's my boss. He's a 2-star, sits up on the hill there. Go talk to him about this because I don't have time to listen to you. And I went back down. He starts. So you have 2 options. Get out of my fucking office or I'll call the general myself. And if he's got to come down here, I don't think he's going to be very happy about that.
No
He might want to. So he went and saw Lefebvre, and Lefebvre came down with him and asked me the questions, and I gave him the answers.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, why did you? I said, because you came in here like a flaming ass bag saying, you will do this, and you. No, I don't work for you. You don't write my fitness report. Oh, what are you? I'm Master Guns. What are you going to do? Bust me for telling you to get out of my office? Are you sitting me? He's like, well, I said, your 2 guys that you sent over here sucked, period. They were very weak. They quit. We didn't make them quit. They quit. They rang the bell, and it was time for them to go. Because not everybody's, if everybody could do our job, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
Not everybody can.
So that
just accept that.
That brings up a good point. I'm going to create a separate video for it. But when I was going through ARS or RIP in general, but I remember specifically in ARS because I was in that kind of like you. I hit that sweet spot in my career where if I didn't graduate, I had already lost my boat space to my prior MOS.
Right.
So it was either graduate and lat move, or I was done.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Marine Corps could have figured something out. But I mean, I'm a sergeant.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, I'm going to fucking die here or I'm going to graduate.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand the mental decision that you're making in training and how physically and mentally difficult that training is. I don't think kids really understand until you've done it.
No, and I think there's no human being out there unless you push your body to its max to figure out what your breaking point. We all have breaking points.
Of course.
Everybody said, no, every human being has a breaking point.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out that part. When they talk, when you go to SEER school, they talk about those things. What is your breaking point? Well, unless you push your body to where you
won't know.
Just goes out or pass out, you're never going to know. You need to know because shit can get bad. And if it gets really bad, you need to be able to sit there and figure that out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, who are you helping? You're not helping nobody. Like for me, my thing is I have to be strong enough or willing enough to take care of my family. Now, even I'm an old dude and I'm broken as shit, I still do that. And even my friends around me, guys like yourself, I don't take shit that people talk shit. I just don't appreciate it. To me, it makes no sense to badger somebody because, you don't like them. Okay. So again, do you sleep with me and pay me? No, you don't. So I don't really care what you think of me.
Yeah.
And like I probably have like 20 close friends that I will go to battle for. That's just the way it is. And I have some other ones, a good acquaintances that I would do the same for. But yeah, you need to push yourself. You mention it all the time. What is your purpose in life?
Yeah.
Why are you here? Why are you existing?
Well, in that time for me, that was it. I was like, I'm either going to drop dead on this road with this freaking ruck on my back or I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
But there's no quit. It's either die and get the silver bullet by the dock later on, or I'm gonna cross the finish line and I'm gonna graduate.
Yeah, I agree. And you have to, again, you have to push your body. You got to push yourself, both mind and body. I tell everybody I have a 25-year-old mind.
Yeah,
I'm a little kid. Ask my wife. I'm a little kid, but from my neck down, that bitch is 95.
But I was gonna say, I think you've gotten younger as you've gotten older.
I'll ask my wife. She'll say, yeah. I mean, I do stupid shit at the house. I'll go jump in the pool for no reason at all. I'm sitting at playing with the grandkid. Yeah. And just do stupid shit with him. I'll be rolling. And I shouldn't be doing tumble rolls or anything like to help him out on the floor because it hurts like hell when I do that little tumble and try to get up off the floor. Now I'm like, I need like pull up bars and shit to get my ass up. But no, I have a 25-year-old mentality. I really do. I mean, I believe I can still do anything that I used to be able to do. Until I do it, and then my body says, "Hey, dumbass, you can't do this."
That hurts.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah,
but that's
nothing. Little growth hormones, some stem cells don't fix.
I'll take them.
Yeah.
Where they at? You got them here?
Yeah, I got a guy.
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy. But again, today, and this goes back to a question that was asked to me years ago. What do you think is different today than it was 40 years ago? The amount of food that we take in our bodies.
Yeah.
First off, and from that food, depending on where you get it from, the amount of nutrients or byproducts that are in those to conserve them so they last 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's what the issue is. My grandparents, they used ivory soap to brush their teeth every single day. They didn't use toothbrushes or toothpaste. That's what they used. Never had a cavity. They ate bacon and eggs every morning, and my grandmother would always have the bacon grease, and that's what she used for everything.
Yeah.
My grandfather at night would eat a gallon of ice cream with us grandkids and smoke a cigar. He lived till he was 68. And the reason he died is he went and got a physical. They found pancreatic cancer. Mm. And because they found it when they went to open him up, everybody doesn't know this. If you have cancer in your body, it's not exposed to air. The spreading doesn't spread as quick as it does or metastasize as fast as it does. As soon as it hits air, it metastasizes. It just goes ballistic because it's received the nutrients it needs air. And he died within 6 weeks.
Fuck.
But, I mean, he lived life the way life was supposed to be. He drank. He ate whatever he wanted because there wasn't all this preservative shit in our food. It was all natural. Now, I mean,
none of our food is natural unless you have to pay and seek. You have to go find it.
Yeah, you do.
You really
unless you have your own farm, growing your own vegetables, and killing your own meat.
Yeah.
Period. That's the way it is. You know, and unfortunately, that's where we're at today. The society. I wonder why our obesity. Well, let's be honest. You know, I love eating. I love Wendy's hamburgers and their French fries. Hands down, we'll do it in a heartbeat.
Stu, they're not good for you.
I know
they're killing you.
Not only killing me, but I don't do it that often. I'll do it once in a while just to preserve my body. But
I mean, you're right. A lot has changed. Look at just the physical movement of a young man. What it used to be, even my time, you know, in the 80s, 90s as a kid versus now.
Yeah,
they don't move.
Well, look at Mars. All special forces, let's say SOCOM, has a program to help our athletes, because our professional athletes, help them recover and help them build accordingly. If we had that when I first came in the Marine Corps, you know, all the way up to this point, I probably wouldn't be as bad as I am now.
No. I mean, that was even, and Josh and I talk about that all the time. It's like they really just got that on the tail end of us. It showed up as we were leaving, and we were like, oh, that must be nice.
No,
because I did it the fucking stupid way. I did it your way.
Yeah,
and it was like,
I can do this faster.
Just do it harder and more.
You tweak your shoulder, like, screw it, just push through it, and then you go find. Yeah, you have a torn labrum and your bicep tendon is ruptured.
And it's been that way for 8 years.
Yeah, it's like, well, my second tour to Iraq, I ruptured my bicep.
I remember that, yeah.
And I'm at the hospital, thank God. Dana Offer, if you listen, I love you. I will marry you when you divorce. They actually said that you're not going to Iraq. And I told them, I am going to Iraq, because I was flying out the next day. I am going to Iraq. It's a personal thing. I'm a Master Sergeant taking a battalion to combat. As a battalion ops chief, I'm not passing that shit up. Not even close. They literally pushed my bicep back up to a point where they ace-bandaged it. And down for, I don't remember flying to Iraq. I have no clue. I got on a plane in Kadena.
So it wasn't attached?
No, it detached. It sat right here.
When did you get it attached?
When I got back.
Did you do the whole deployment with that?
Yeah. I worked out. I came back leaner than I was before I went. And I was in pretty good shape before I left. Yeah. I came back leaner. So I went to go do the surgery. The doctor's like, how in the hell did you do this? I said, you gave me some pain pills. I taped it up for that 2 weeks you told me to. I took it off and started doing pull-ups and push-ups and stuff.
And then they reattached it later.
Yeah, then went back and reattached it.
Holy shit.
It's like Stu. I have a Popeye. It's attached right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But same with this one. I ruptured both triceps, both biceps. Both shoulders have been repaired 4 times each. I have a plate in my neck. I have my knee replaced twice. I've rebuilt my thumb, and they rebuilt my elbow. That's just in the Marine Corps.
Damn.
But I'm fine.
I feel like you just need to start replacing you with like enhanced cyborg parts.
Well, my wife now got me this new it's called Oil IV.
Yeah. So
it's a bag that I put on my top of my bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I just tap into my PICC line and it puts oil through my body so I can
so you can move around.
Yeah. So I told somebody that once. I said, they're like, where's your PICC line at? I said, it's right there. See it? They're like, no. Oh, you're joking. Well, yeah, I'm joking. What do you think? I get up in the morning and put freaking oil in my damn body?
Change out my my gyros.
Yeah, I can't change the tires. The engine's already shot, so it doesn't matter there. It's just maintaining it. You know, this classic vehicle I got going on here.
So, how do they find this podcast?
Aspetto?
Yeah.
Gentleman named Dan Sharp.
Okay.
Had it. He started. I think it was 2016. I think ish. He started it. Guy's brilliant. He can write his butt off, something I can't do. So he was using it as an outlet for veterans as well.
Yeah.
But also too to have some raunchiness in there and tell some raunchy stories like we do.
Have some fun.
Have some fun with it. Yeah. But also put an awareness to it. So Aspetto saw it and said, hey, let's buy this company and let's bring somebody on that is older.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more experienced, but it's not as brilliant as Dan. So guess who they picked? Me. Because I can talk to anybody. I never met a stranger. And what their thing is that we're trying to do awareness as well.
Okay.
So anything that has to do with the first responders or the military, like I said, the 5 pillars, is give awareness and help the transition piece. Because at the end of the day, no matter what thing you're into, to transition from that job to something new or to retirement.
It's an identity shift.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's weird how you go from 100 miles an hour and you say, it can't happen to me. I'm here to tell you, it happens to you.
Sure, bud.
At the end of the day, because you don't have a purpose. That's where the why comes in. What do I do now? Why am I here? What's my purpose now? And finding purpose. It took me a while when I got out of the Marine Corps.
Well, yeah, and the reason what happens is if you don't know that, then you're seeking pleasure. You're trying to feel good. And anytime you're just, if you're seeking pleasure, you're just,
you ruin your whole family.
You're going to ruin your whole family.
And that's what people miss is that if you got an issue and if your spouse, I don't give a shit your male or female, your spouse says something to you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're getting meaner. Like for my things, you're being very condescending. Why are you doing it? And I'm like, I'm not. And then when they tape you during that conversation, and you think you're not doing stupid shit, and you listen to it, you're going, "Hey, honey, I apologize.
I'm an asshole."
Yeah, I didn't realize I was being that much of a clown.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for my wife telling me that and taping me because she knows who I am and saying, "Here's what you are now." I was like, I don't like that person.
No, yeah.
That's when I went in the mirror and smiled at myself. Said, "Hey, let's go, motherfucker. I'm ready to go now." But you have to have that. If no one gives you, if you're around the people that will not give you criticism and you don't accept it,
that's all I say it all the time.
You're a fucking idiot.
Like, why? If I care about you, why would I not hold you accountable?
Why can't I be honest with you?
Yeah.
If there's something like, hey, Nick,
I'm gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I don't like the way your beard is trimmed down the right way. Okay. But the point is, you have a lot of successful people that have yes people around them. You cannot have yes people. You have to have a couple no people around you that you trust. A lot of these clowns out there are making it big on social media and other things. They have all yes people around them. They're not telling you you're jacked up like 2 football bats.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with today. Be honest with people. If you're jacked up, tell them they're jacked up. Because at the end of the day, you might do something stupid that's going to affect everybody across the board and not know it. And that's going to hurt. Because then you're left with
I think
nothing.
Maybe 30 years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, we definitely had a community of men that would hold other men accountable. And now everyone's it's none of my business. I'm going to stay out of it.
They feel like they're on eggshells.
Yeah.
I can't say none. No, you can.
You can.
If
you care, if you don't care about them, then no, don't. I'm not going to tell you anything.
Don't waste your breath.
Don't waste my breath.
Yeah.
But if I care about you, then I'm going to be like, hey, dude, you're fucking up and you need to get your shit together.
And sometimes that hard loving is the best loving you can get.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that's what's good about Aspetto is they're seeing I wouldn't say issues or problems, but they see the way things are going right now in the climate, whether it's political, religion, or just anything else. And they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we get involved to help? We're not trying to change nothing. We're just trying to give you outlets to help you. Because if you could do that, I mean, you've been very successful doing it. That's what your business is.
Yeah.
It's helping individuals be their best that they can be.
Best they can be.
So,
but it's not even for them.
No.
It's for the people around them.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. I think I'm a very good guy. I'm a great guy. But there's people around me who don't think that so much. Okay, well, I need to then change something or fix something. I don't think it's broken, but fix something to make it so everybody is good.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you think about me. I don't. Because when I die, I'm at peace. Because I know what I've done up to this point. I could die today and be happy because I've done everything I've tried to do, I've done for myself and others to make sure everybody else is successful around me. If it has to be for me taking a bow or something like that, well, then I'll do it. But you got to make sure that you're happy with yourself. You can't love nobody if you don't love yourself.
And that all comes from internal anyway.
Yeah.
It's no one's going to make you happy.
No. You could have the best wife or the best
Still
girlfriend.
be unhappy.
Yeah, be unhappy.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand. I see sometimes, I got a buddy of mine, good dude. He's just a dick. But he's a good dude. He's got a gorgeous wife, makes great money. I mean, she's the breadwinner in the family. And he divorced her because he was not going to wear an apron. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I would have a thong on, an apron, dinner would be ready, flowers. I'd give her a massage at night, massage her feet, because you know what? She's supplying for us. My job now is to make sure she's taken care of. I can't do that. Men don't do that. No, dumbasses, men don't do that. Real men will stand up to take the challenge. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Again, this goes back again. Your ego and pride is keeping you in the way of progress.
Yeah.
Fucking let that shit go, man.
Yeah, you don't.
Who the fuck? What a fucking waste.
You know, like the thing is, I tell everybody, I can usually pick out a guy who's in special forces or has done something special in their life with either law enforcement or the military. Yeah. You can see it in their eyes. And guys have been downrange, you can definitely tell they were downrange just because of the gleam they have in their eye. There's something about it. They're like, how can you do that? It's easy. You just look at them and talk to them. And their mannerisms, the way they conduct themselves in front of you, will let you know if they've done something special in their life. And for me, I just think it's kind of a trait. I can usually pick that out. Like, that's why I hate SHOT Show.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I'll be going there this year.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna do a couple live podcasts out there. So if you're out there, you need to come and see me anyway. That's why I tell people when they ask me, what do you do for a living in the Marine Corps? A culinary arts specialist. I was a cook. Because as soon as you venture out and say, yeah, I was a recon guy my entire career. Oh yeah, I'm with the 82nd Airborne Ranger Sniper guys. What the fuck does that mean to begin with? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to stop or anything?
No.
That's the whole piece, is that I don't need to give you my accolades. If you can't talk to me like a man, to me as a man, I don't want to hear your story. I had one, last time I went to SHOT Show was 3 years ago. This guy came up, all garb. So he's got the 511 jeans on, the boots, and all the quick release shit and all that crap. And yeah.
Why?
I don't know. He comes up to our booth. It's me and this great guy, Tom Smith. I love him to death. That guy's got some stories. SF cat. He was a recon second force back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Got out and traded in blues for greens.
There's a lot of guys that did that back then. Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I probably would have did it if I was going to drill school. But first thing he says to us is like, so what you guys do in the military? Tom Smith walks off and leaves me standing there. I'm like, you fucker. I said, I was a cook in the Marine Corps. Oh, really? So you know this gear? I said, well, yeah, I read about it, and I kind of seen it on TV, and I play Halo, and I stayed at the Hollywood Express last night, so I'm pretty versed on this gear. Why? He goes, well, he's starting to throw these lingo stuff at me, and right away I knew that he was not in any of those units.
Yeah.
Just the way he was talking. And I just finally put my head down. I said, dude, you need to shut the fuck up because you're worthless. So what you do in the Army? I was in the Ranger Battalion. Okay, what Ranger bat, blah, blah, blah. So I said, no, it's impossible. There's nobody, you will not be in any special forces in any military whatsoever. You don't have the look or the heart.
Yeah.
You're that guy that follows somebody's coattails. You're a follower. You're not a leader. You got to be
First
behind
of all,
everybody.
if you're a Ranger, you're walking in probably shorts, flip-flops, and a T-shirt, maybe a tank top at SHOT Show.
Yeah, and you're not going to run your mouth and saying, I was this, that, and the other thing.
No, you're trying to get out of SHOT Show is what you're trying to do. Like, yeah, where's the fucking door to this place?
What party is tonight? I'm going to what party?
Yeah.
I'm heading over to, Point Blank's party today, or HESCO, whatever it is. But
who's got the weed here? That's
Where's the dispensary at? That's the first thing I hit when I get in Vegas. I hit the dispensary. But no, it's just like, why do you have to say that? Why do you have to put yourself bigger than what you are? You're not impressing me because I can't do shit for you. I'm not going to write you a check to go party somewhere. It's just not happening. So what's the purpose for this? I tell everybody, I hear more recon snipers than I've ever heard in my entire life. And the fact is that since like the mid-90s till present, there's only been 312 recon Marines that are sniper qualified.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's thousands of people that are recon snipers. There's no such fucking thing. You're a reconnaissance Marine and went to sniper school.
Yeah.
Or you're a reconnaissance guy or a MARSOC guy that went to the schools. You're not. As soon as you tell me, I went to.
Nobody would ever say that.
No.
Nobody's going to walk up and be like, I'm this.
So when you went to the school to get your bub, what's that called?
Dive school?
Dive school. You call it scuba school?
No.
No. So you telling me you went to scuba school, I know you're full of fucking shit. And this guy's like, yeah, I went in Pearl Harbor. What year? Oh, 99, 2002. Nope, you're full of shit. You closed in 96. I'm telling you right now, you didn't fucking go to scuba school there.
Scuba school.
And they're like, then yeah, I was at parachuting school. No one that went to jump school says parachuting school. I don't give a fuck who you are. You just don't. There's key words that these clowns say that are wrong. And guys like me are going to pick it up in a heartbeat. And I'm super nice in the beginning until you start really getting under my last skin.
Why do you even want to deal with stuff like that?
It makes them bigger than they are. And I've been told, and this is probably true, because I did that my entire career, I think I'm better than the person I'm sitting in front of. I said, why would I do that? My career was my career. It benefited me and me only. Oh, my family too. But, why would I have to go out and preach that to everybody? Like Robert and Abbas, the owners of Aspetto. These kids, I'm sorry, Robert and Abbas, to call you kids. They're the same age as my son, so I call them kids.
Yeah.
They're brilliant. I've never met two businessmen in my entire life as brilliant as these two, because they look at everything on the ground like they're like you with your team. They're interactive with their team. They talk to them. They find out what's going on. They allow them to speak their piece. Yeah. And they figure what the industry is doing, how they can fix it when they come out with their quick release system. People were all against it. It was brilliant the way they did it, because our emergency procedures are one way. We do for everything. Yeah. It's out and away. We pull it out and away from our body. Yeah. That's why their quick release system works, because they listen to the end users and everybody else. Now they went from the tactical side to technical. So they're doing the cybersecurity, they're doing the intel stuff. They're doing all that because they see what the dynamics is for them as a company, that they have to grow that way. Yeah. That's the thing with this podcast that they wanted me to do is it allows us just to put a message out across the board. Tell some good stories and talk to some great people. But put that piece out there to let them know that there's somebody out there that's listening to you. All you got to do is respond. Yeah. Just respond back. And we can help you transition. For me, it's because I know you so well. If I have people like that, I can always refer them after I talk to you first, this direction, because this is your forte. Yeah. I'm just the guy in the middle that's just putting out a message. That is it. And so I don't need to prove myself to nobody.
You definitely do not need to prove yourself to anyone.
That's what I said.
And anybody that ever thinks that is a fucking idiot.
I know, but I get it though. I get it a lot. Why can't you tell people what you do for a living? Because it's none of your fucking business, dude. For me to tell you my accolades, first, I can't. It's hard for me to talk about myself in that type of light. Yeah. But secondly, it's no concern of yours. You had no impact on my career whatsoever. And right now, talking shit is totally wrong. That's the only thing you have right now. So I'm not going to entertain it. Just won't do it.
Life's too short, man.
Life's too short, and I had too many people around me that love me. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And the part from my lowest point, nearly killing myself, it's just, if it wasn't good friends of mine that were at the table at the time, I wouldn't be sitting here. And that's just the reality. I'm a strong individual. I am. Yeah. But you know what? I just have my breaking point too. It just gets to that point.
Like you said, everybody does.
Yeah, you have that part of my background. It's just, you can't figure out when the wall falls in, those two walls just kind of collapse in on you. You're like, shit, how did this happen? When
and
things are going so well.
Here's what's really shitty is everybody thinks they're a unique little butterfly going through their own little world of hurt. No. It's like, dude.
You have no idea.
Dude, fucking everybody. Like, welcome to the show, son.
Yeah, you know shit. I mean? Take a front seat right here.
Yeah.
Sit down.
And I think that's the worst part, right? The worst part is people think that it's isolated to themselves. Yeah. No, you don't understand. No, dude, you're not special. Welcome to the show. Everybody's dealing with it. Yep. Stop being a bitch and start talking to people.
That's a key. Talk about it. Yeah. Well, I can't. Why? Because you're a dude?
Your best friend's probably going through the same thing, and you guys aren't even talking about it. Yeah. It was crazy, man. I talked to, when I got out, because I went through the whole Iraq thing. Yep. And then I just moved on. And then I moved on again and moved on again. And then finally I got out, years later, almost 6 years later, I got out. And I started having some weird things started happening. And so I called Tony Cano. Yeah. I said, hey, dude, this is going to sound weird. I saw this, and, I thought I saw Gary Johnson. Right. Like in a crowd. Like I started picturing him.
Really?
Yeah, like physically, like there. Like I would walk past something. Yeah. And he'd be standing there, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so I started seeing that. And maybe it was just, maybe it was starting to catch up, and it was just on my mind, and those sort of all the things that had happened.
You had time to think.
Yeah, because we all just moved on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it stops, and that's where I talk about in the book where it's like, you know, you're moving 300 miles an hour and you get out and it's like, done.
You're not even moving.
Not even moving. And then, but all that, you know, it's like a train. The caboose is still going 300 miles an hour. It's going to hit you right in the back of the head. So I called him. I'm like, dude, this is some weird shit, man. I'm trying to like kind of process it and struggling. And he goes, bro, welcome to the fucking show. Your whole platoon, because, you know, all those young guys, a lot of them got out afterwards.
Yeah, they did.
He said, dude, guys have been dealing with this shit for years.
Yeah. You don't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that our guys are smart enough, because there's enough people that were around them in their career and after that they can pick a phone up and call somebody.
Yeah.
You know, because at the
Well,
end
I did.
of the day,
I called Cam.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I screwed up. I mean, my part was going through all these surgeries. I was hooked to oxycodone like it was no tomorrow. I was doing probably between 12 and 14 pills a day.
Fuck.
You know, I didn't dabble
It
in
completely changes like everything.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I was delirious. There was things I was saying and doing, and I had no clue I was doing. And my wife, again, love her to death, would say, hey, dumbass, and show me pictures or recordings. And I'd be like, why didn't you slap me in the head when that happened?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes no damn sense. But, you know, again, I had to be the prideful guy and make a phone call or two. That's what's good about Phil. You know, I go to see him once a month, so I got issues. Him and I'll get shitty drunk, and we'll solve the world's problems.
Oh, Phil's got tons of solutions, right?
Oh, yeah. So is Ron Neal. Ron Neal, the goon. You know, I talked to him quite a bit, too.
I wanted to show you. So Tony Kano is a tier 1 client in the Agoge.
Is he really?
Yeah, he came on, and he's
How do you get? So how many tiers do you have?
5 tiers.
What's the lowest?
Tier 5.
Oh, okay. So
It's a start.
Oh, it's a start point.
Yeah,
Sweet.
we actually haven't even launched tier 5. Tier 5 is an app-based kind of program, low level, like
I want the hardest level you got. No.
tier 1. It's expensive.
Mm.
Anyways, he came on. Well, actually, he started at tier 4 and leveled his way up, and now him and his brother are both tier 1 clients. But look at that shit.
Holy shit.
How fucking amazing is that?
He don't even look like the same dude.
Yeah. His whole fucking life has changed.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And see, he's got a pair of shorts on with his shirt off. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do.
We go back to that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just get back to, like, be getting naked.
Yeah, take your shit off. And that's what's funny. You say getting naked. I was at a party a couple months ago, and we were having a good time, and everybody's like, you know, what can you do to make things more exciting? I'm like, why do I got to do something? Because we heard you're crazy. And I just met some of these guys the first time. I said, no, I just do what the normal dudes do when you're out partying with your buddies.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, fuck it. Took my shirt off, took my shoes off. I had a pair of shorts on, obviously. I got up on the table, and I was just dancing. Now, you got this fat dude. I weighed about 315 pounds at that time.
Damn.
Yeah, I got to 315. I'm down to 265.
It's more your normal. Close to your normal.
I'd like to get down to 235.
We're going to make that happen.
You know, that's where my
I'm going to dig deep a little bit.
good fighting weight is.
Yeah.
But it's just weird how they looked at me because I'm the wild one. I'm like, how out of all you guys, some were college kids too. You look at the old guy to be the wild one around here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big flirt. You know, if I see these guys are talking about a hot chick, I'll just walk up to her and start talking to her, bring her to the table. Have nothing to do with her, but just, you know, to prove a point.
Because they're all scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's she going to do to you? Say no? It's like the old saying, you can ask 10 chicks, hey, do you want to fuck? At least 1 out of 10 is going to say yes. You're going to get smacked a shitload of times, but you're going to get one that's going to say yes.
You're going to win one time.
One time. So until you get to that point.
You got to fail 9 times before you get to the success.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. You
can't be scared to fail.
Yeah. You got to you can't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
The catastrophic ones, yes. When you get to that point, and you might want to think a little bit before you make that decision.
Yeah.
It's going to be catastrophic at the end. But again, you can't go through life. What if? That's a big. What if I had done this? Well, what if grasshoppers have machine guns? Birds wouldn't fuck with them. What if that happened? This isn't horseshoes. What do you mean by what if? What's this mean to me? What if that? So don't have the what if.
Yeah.
Just go do it.
What if? Yes. What if? Yes. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna go join Recon. You know.
Oh my God.
But I couldn't.
You don't have to get down that thing.
What's that?
Wish I had $1 for every time I heard that.
I would be rich. I was sitting in the Caribbean islands right now, my own fucking island, sitting there shooting the shit, drinking a beer. But no, it comes down to the core pieces of Nick Koumalatsos is why am I here? What's my purpose?
Yeah.
Okay, and how do I be successful? Well, you got to fail in order to be successful.
That's it.
In order to do that, you listen to people like yourself that's been through that trial and tribulation and put your piece out, because you do. You're not afraid to put it out in the airs of here's where we were, here's where we are, and here's why.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't listen to that.
And where are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got some fucking troll bitch saying something that doesn't even know who you are, just happens to know you by name, running their fucking mouth, and then I get pissed off.
I just go, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, classic, but no, this stops here, bitches. I am not listening to this bullshit no more.
I love it.
I just get.
I get it on all fronts, man. Training, nutrition, military, talking about testosterone. They're like, oh, you're going to die from whatever. I'm like, okay.
If you're taking steroids, you might, but the testosterone today, because I was on the programs, a couple programs throughout my life, they're very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're under the right guidance.
Well, I think what people are talking about is like anabolic SARMs, steroids, like the people that are like 17 times the dosage that these bodybuilders do.
Yeah, they're
like,
stacking their asses off.
Like first of all, those are medications meant for horses.
Yes.
You know, that's not what we're talking about. Yeah. You know, but whatever. But I every time they say something, either articulate yourself or I'm just going to say, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your algorithm push on my business.
See, people don't understand that.
No, they don't
behind the scenes.
That. Yeah.
I'm dogging Nick Koumalatsos, or I'm dogging Stu.
No, you're just making.
But my algorithm's on the backside saying, dog the fuck out of me right now.
So there's a company called Lions Not Sheep. The most baller ass move I've ever seen. You ready for this?
Yeah.
We can end the podcast on this. Baller ass move. So they come under hot water about some stupid shit. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you know what I'm talking about. Listen, I don't give a fuck. Okay? That's not the point. So he got fined. He got fined some money, and there was a bunch of press out there that's like writing articles about him getting fined. And so what does he do? He goes and works with his ad buyer, and in the article trashing him, he puts ads for all of his shit.
No shit.
In the articles trash him.
That's perfect marketing.
Fucking perfect.
That's called brilliancy. Right?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
And then like he posted the revenue that he got like that month. It's like through the fucking roof.
and people are dogging him for doing that. Yeah. And he still continued doing it, making money. Like,
yeah.
It's like, well, bring it on then, dumbasses.
Yeah. If you really truly hate somebody, fucking ignore him.
Yes. Know? Ignore him or go see him face to face. Don't be a bitch online. Don't be that guy. But Nick, it was a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate talking to me. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Soon, because I know you're a busy dude. I'm not.
I am extremely busy.
Yeah, I'm not.
I would have it no other way.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. You know the deal. If you benefited from this, and you need to do this on yours too. If you benefit from this podcast, if you like, first of all, go find Stu. Go find Stu on his podcast. Smoke Pit.
Yep.
And basically, if you like this podcast, that's what that podcast is going to be like. Just Stu talking shit.
Yes.
But if you found this beneficial, which was a lot of nuggets in here, screenshot this, tag us both. All right, share this on social media. Share this with a friend. Go leave us a review. This shit matters. It might change somebody's life. So you guys know the deal. Never quit, never surrender. We always keep moving forward. We'll see you guys in the next episode.